Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Sailing. I am a beast, my sister four emperors Linlin. Chapter 81. Time flies. 10 days. Say long is not long, say short is not short. That's pretty much the way it is on the voyage. For the world government side, there is no accident, and the arrangement is completed in advance. Rock's mission. The mighty nearly 1,000 pirate ships also followed the Rock's swordhead main ship and gradually approached the sea area of the Valley of Gods. Their direction is on the south side. It is also the most suitable position for attacking and conforming to the sea current. On it, over 100,000 pirates, with scarlet dry lips, impatient to hold a knife. On the main ship, a cloud of black mist is surging, adjusting its state, and bombing towards the peak. Gia ha 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 ha. Rather, Shiki with long blonde hair is extremely active above the ships. Lousy has already seen the silhouette. Where are the Charlotte brothers and sisters? Where? We have such a large scale, they will bring a large number of people with them when they develop to the present. He looked around. However, after going back and forth, there was no shadow. Hey, it's not going to be an old-fashioned drama, and I won't appear until the end. That's so boring. These 10 years. He is not practicing cultivation all the time, and with the strength of Asa, it is blurred in his mind. His confidence is back. The ambition is stronger. Not only him. Many captains below all have such thoughts, they are at odds with each other, and they all have their own ambitions. This temporary following, however, makes the Rock stronger. Gu la 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 la. Shiki. Newgate stood at the bow of the ship with a naginata in hand, his pupils flicked white. They should be late. Maybe there are too many people, which slows down the progress. Compared to Shiki, he had ambitions, too, and that was family, but alas, on board the Rocks, they never came to fruition. It seems. The tall man in golden armor seemed to be planning to accumulate some strength. Let us fire the first shot. Correct. He looked at a certain corner on an unmanned blood ship. Leadfield, which angle do you think is better? There, leaning on a man who has no sense of existence, almost no breath, and looks like a dead man. It was the Red Earl. After being crushed by Asa, he practiced his knowledge color and fruit ability even harder. However, there are demons, and the promotion is extremely slow. So Shin, with the help of Rocks, although the demons are still there, he has become stronger. 24. Now, in stealth and hiding breath, not even Rocks can compare to him. The price is, participate in the battle of the Valley of the Gods. He came, while fulfilling the promise, it is also to face Asa again and overcome this demon. Regain confidence. First shot. Why, you all think they are late. Redfield's knowledge extended infinitely, and immediately raised his head at a certain node. You guys are wrong. They started earlier than here. After he finished speaking, Shiki and Whitebeard raised their brows before the other captains could react. Rocks on the main ship. Also a grin. Bahahahahaha. Brother and sister Charlotte. It's really a good start. I can't let it go here. I'm ready for Lousy. Power, wealth, women, power, status. This is a real gluttonous feast. Everything. It's all there. Let's start the most luxurious war in history. Valley of the Gods. This is a large island. The reason for the word gu is because there are too many high and continuous peaks, making it impossible to see the end at a glance. Bring God. It is a miracle of existence. At the same time, because the people who live here are the descendants of the gods, that is, the so-called nobles of the world, celestial dragons. The Valley of the Gods, thus gaining life. With them. In addition to the guards on the island, there are also a large number of slaves for their entertainment and recreation. Certainly, today is not the time for entertainment as the world government has been established for 800 years. Now, celestial dragons go up and down. All gathered together to start this grand ceremony, offering sacrifices to the ancestors, and offering sacrifices to the heavens with special objects. With this continuation, the more long-lasting glory of the world government. In case of accidents, they even mobilized, beyond all scale, the largest war mobilization. First of all, there are hundreds of warships and submarines around the island, large and small. The quality beats the conventional pirate ship. North. There are 23 joined countries, the king and the accompanying royal guards. Kingdom warriors, Kingdom Grand Knight, coming with the boat, the strength of the elite exceeds 1,000. There are also tens of thousands of miscellaneous soldiers, and the king's soldiers are specially stationed here in case of emergencies. The strength of this force, ability and powerhouses from all sides, all added up, even Admiral had to stay away. The further you go in, the stronger your strength. It's the Marine Science Corps. Special Forces, weapons. There are only a few super anti-aircraft guns in the world. Listed together, like a giant steel beast, they link up into a metal frenzy. Under countless CP commissioners, Marine Rear Admiral, Vice Admiral, and Army Air Forces occupy every strategic high ground. They looked serious and did not dare to make even the slightest change, facing the two great sea emperors of the past. The current overlord, Rock's pirate, no one dares to relax. Land, sea, sky. All are deployed. Sea, land and air are strictly guarded. In the core area circle. Here, it involves the range of top strength. The two supplementary candidates Admiral, the third Admiral of the main part, and the strongest shield of CPO Celestial Dragons. There are also ones that go further up, but on the bright side, they don't appear. Here we go. Because of the requirement, Kong and others are all dressed up very clean, so as not to tarnish everything here. At the same time, prayer ceremony, under the stage. There is no dust here, even the slaves have been specially bathed. The skin seemed to have been brushed off, and all the dirt was cleared. Inside and outside, he even went on a hunger strike just to make sure he was clean. Celestial dragons don't need it, they are holy and represent the highest quality. Bring up the sacrifice, tray by tray. On it, there are various viscera that have been preliminarily processed, but not cooked. Most of them, yeah. It represents sincerity. The first batch of 3 celestial dragons are placed on it as incense for worship. Start worshipping. Every untouchable. Turn all around. A sharp voice sounded, and all the guards, even the top fighters, took a deep breath. They turned around, including Kong. Without exception. Because this is the rule, they are not eligible to watch. Where did those hearts come from? I heard that it is taken from people born on special days. Someone whispered. Some time ago, there was a case of missing persons, even involving the disappearance of the daughter of a Marine Vice Admiral. Only, when they try to find it. However, it was obstructed by layers of superiors. The answer was obvious, but the situation behind the scenes. Naturally more. Unfortunately, there is no way. This is why many people take a deep breath. This is also the case, many people questioned. The justice of Marine was shaken. Slap. Threesomes. Start the pilgrimage. It's just not finished yet, and the waiting celestial dragons are heard, making a sound. Quick, look at the sky. What happened to those clouds? Could it be that the ancestors really responded? Sincerely, it is sincerely inspired. My lord, have you ever had an affair before? Quote. It's never happened before. This is too unbelievable. Maybe it's a gift to our descendants of God. www. Celestial dragons in the whole square, looking at the clouds in the sky, there are faint flashes of thunder. Eyes wide open instantly, excited, trembling. However, there were a few strong men, but their faces changed slightly, and they turned around quickly. Also at this moment, the turbulent sky suddenly became much quieter, and its power decreased. This made the newly excited celestial dragons all look at each other in blank dismay. Especially the 3 people on the high platform. Started to freak out. Bold, the ancestor finally responded. It's you dogs. Disturbed the gift of the ancestors. Get out of here. The 3 of them showed their ugliness and began to yell loudly. The unknown benefit is about to come down. But it was interrupted. The faces of these strong men changed for a while, and they tried to explain something, but they were all rejected. Finally turned around helplessly. As expected, the moment they turned around, the thunderclouds condensed again, and it was no ordinary thunder, surrounded by golden light. This wonder let every celestial dragons look excited. Ancestor, the creator of all, have you finally responded to the ceremony? Give it a baptism. The 3 people above spoke sincerely. Swish, the high-altitude rays of light condensed to the extreme. At the same time, a pair of eyes and facial features were exposed. All kinds of strange phenomena made the 3 of them even more sure. It was the creator who appeared and showed a miracle. No longer hesitate. All 3 salute. 100 meters away. The 5 old men sitting in a special place raised their brows slightly. Also at this time, the sky was full of light, covering many people. Boom! A distorted light golden thick thunder slammed downwards fiercely. Ancestors, bring it on _. Yeah, ah. The sound of frenzy turned into screams, and the 3 of them were drowned in it, excruciatingly painful. And the strong thunder is still spreading rapidly. Dissipated electricity instantly stuns the approaching celestial dragons. Baptism. Suffering. No. Wrong. This is lightning. You untouchables, what are you doing still in a daze? Turn around quickly. Don't tell them. Someone on the side made a move. The stupidity of the celestial dragons. To be honest, they all took it as a joke. Anyway, the 5 didn't say anything, so let's indulge them. But to kill all. No. Hoo-hoo. Hand wave. All the lightning lights dissipated, but the 3 people on the high platform were not spared, and turned into powder directly. And underneath them, on the dissipated carpet, there is a pattern of the ancient fierce beast glutton instead, which seems to indicate that I have received a piece of this food. Again, feeding on celestial dragons. What does this picture mean? Could it be that they are Charlotte? After 14 years, you have humiliated us again. Just be them. When he was about to leave behind the thundercloud that was flying away, there was a shock on the south side of the Valley of Gods. There is the sound of atmospheric cracking. Next. High altitude. Dense black dots flashed out again. Like 10,000 arrows, they all flew towards them. It's the Rock's pirate approaching. Shock fruit. Lion fruit. Protect the celestial dragons here. According to the original plan, split apart to defeat them. Sengoku, Garp, Zephyr. Follow. Finally this day has come. With the attack of the Rock's group, the ceremony was interrupted, and a large number of celestial dragons were forced to take refuge. The battle is about to start. That's it, Lei Guang, why no one stopped it? Is it an air strike? Was it successful? Crazy, don't just discuss what's inside. It seems that there is a war in the south. Fortunately, we are safe here. North, the guards were all terrified. And the kings behind them, under the protection of the warriors of their respective kingdoms, were also a little nervous. But it quickly changed. The current here is special, and all ships approaching will be swept to the south. So don't worry. Wan Guo, join the battle in the south, too. It must have brought a lot of people. I guess it's the trash who joined the treason and went to war with the rocks. It's all about death, it's just cannon fodder. Antagonizing the world government will not end well. They nodded to each other, but they didn't notice that the direction where the thunder light flashed was right here. Below, soon, suddenly an air door opened. Everyone. The CPO team stepped forward. It's time for me to go too, remember your oath. There is also a duty to stick to it. Don't be like the other 20 countries all voted. Before he could say what he intended, he was interrupted by many kings. What is this nonsense? King Brandy said righteously. Since we rejected that guy's invitation, we will tear it up. Participating in coming here is to be loyal to the government forever. Never betray. There is no neutral idea. That's right, if there are pirates approaching, we will do our best to wipe them out. Several kings, seeing the head of the CPO, he had doubts in his eyes and was immediately dissatisfied. Is it to question the position, or to question the strength? Your Royal Highnesses are right. Ahead, the stern eyes of the most powerful paladins of the kingdom swept over here, with extraordinary momentum. The head of the CPO also restrained his contempt. The strong are few, but it is not without the night power of our major allies. You CPO and Marine, haven't you tried it? Fighting alone, alternate admiral may not be my opponent. Now everyone joins hands and cooperates with the battle formation of Battle Kingdom. Even if Rocks comes, they can persist for at least 10 hours. They spoke very imposingly, and the king nodded again and again. There are often conflicts and even wars between kingdoms, so countries without combat power have long since perished. Of the rest, none are simple. And among them, the strongest person cultivated is not inferior to Marine's super combat power. The head of the CPO nodded and was about to leave. Call, however, at this moment, there was an inexplicable breeze blowing at the port. Guards, I didn't care about it at all. When it hit them, a sudden change occurred. Like a sickle, like a gangster, like a slash. Combined with each other. The special wind blade formed as everything that blows over. King's army, elite army, long guns and short cannons, various supporting facilities. And even the entire port. Like a dandelion, it begins to disintegrate and dissipate. The range is thousands of meters long, and there are tens of thousands of guards in steel helmets, all of which are weathered foam. The few paladin commanders who spoke out loud just now seemed to have sensed something. He turned his head sideways. However, the bad luck of dissipation still cannot be avoided. Unfortunately, even hockey is too late to use. It's a pity that I haven't prepared yet, and my strength has never been revealed. But neither is an excuse. The wind died down. 23 kings, all froze. The head of the CPO also maintained a half-entry posture, the corners of his lips trembling slightly. Ahead, with a light boot stepping down, the long-lost figure was reflected in their eyes. The rocks are not here, but I am. And this came out of nowhere. Or because the speed is too fast, everyone can't react in time. The breath is extremely deep. Familiar, but I didn't recognize it for a while, until another pink shadow came across. After landing one, he also carried Napoleon on his shoulders to confirm his identity. To be prepared, it is their identities. Charlotte's. Why are there only 2 of them? What about the ship? Could it be a surprise attack? No, didn't you bring an army? Are those important? How did this happen? It's just a gust of wind, this. Is it the ability to cut and slash? Silently, tens of thousands of guards are dead. This moment, 23 kings, after returning to their senses, half of them collapsed to the ground in fright. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they really felt that they were dreaming, it was too unreal. Reality. Ordinary guards died like ants, that's all. But King Warrior, Kingdom Paladin, it also dissipated like confetti. It's not so much an exaggeration as it is weird. What's even weirder is, the opponent, single-handedly, only brought his own sister. Rocks come out in full force, you brought yourself and your sister. Most critical, still out of the ordinary. Don't go south. But here in the north, who would have thought of this? You said it. With the battle formation, can you stop rocks for an hour? After the chief CPO reacted, his teeth became a little sore and weak. This is it. It can stop others, but it can't stop him, right? Brag. Why does everyone like to blow a few words? Usually that's all, now. No matter the time or occasion. Lord of a country. Without. Suddenly, the battle formation king trembled. Everyone is dead, there is no time to open the battle formation. On their side, when at a loss. Ahead, there are rounds of fresh wind blowing. Master Asa, you are so mighty. She gathered long lashes, red lips, exquisite facial features, feminine. The face of this wind group homage, even if it is replaced by a human face, it is very suitable and beautiful. She is North Wind Hera. Hera, this is the direction of your efforts, the wind blade that will be condensed in the future. If the quality can reach half, it is considered qualified. Linlin glanced at her, and then looked in front of him. Brother, let them. Opposite, the kings retreated subconsciously, extremely terrified. Mr. Asa, Miss Linlin, we can make peace. Compensation. Everyone is not stupid. Now we know why the remaining 27 alliance countries have taken refuge in Asa. Those guys are so badass. In the face of this power, the only thing to do is surrender. Do not come. Everything is negotiable. What do you want? This king can give it to you. Money, or beauty. There are all types of women, even if it is my harem, you are interested. Mr. Asa, I am willing to stand in neutral. No more participation. Everyone is coerced by the world government. As the 2 of Asa approached, the 23 kings almost had no backbone, and they surrendered directly. Then began to sell miserably. It's just that under the Great Terror, they spoke incoherently. In order to survive, even the harem is willing to give it away. This gave the head of the CPO a headache. But there are exceptions, those who are stubborn, seem to want to grab, but just touch it. People are gone. Hey, everyone, such a drama. Zeus jumped out and said, it seems that it happened in the Desert Kingdom before. You guys, when you tore up the notification letter, you were quite decisive. Prometheus was impatient. Now, all of them are soft-legged shrimps. On Asa Sama's side, there is no medicine for regret. Hera circled around. came to the sky above the kings, took a deep breath, and blew out again. Master Asa will help take care of your country. Relax and go. Mimic Asa. Out of breath. Form a sickle-like slash. But it is not in place. The cutting speed is very slow when killing chickens and pigs. Unfavorable people are very tormented. Broken hands, broken feet. The cut was not very clean, resulting in continuous screams. Asa waved. The annoying noise dissipated, but as it brushed past the chief CPO, it seemed to hit a wall on him. Dissipated a little. It was at this very second that the chief CPO half-stepped into the air door, taking advantage of the situation to escape. Charlotte Asa, your slash is useless, and the power of that munch fruit. For so many years, the world government has already made corresponding plans for you and Rock's fruit ability. No one can escape. Lingering sound. The air rippled slightly, and people disappeared without a trace. Since it is invalid. Hera's expression was anthropomorphic, and she was very disdainful. Then why are you running away? It doesn't matter. Asa walked past the dissipated kings, glanced at them, and understood. When he slashed the place he touched, he was blocked for a second, but it was actually cushioned by his clothes. But only for a few seconds. After that, just can't bear the collapse. But those few seconds are precious. You can turn on the hockey protection in time, and then choose to escape, or get close and try to fight Asa. It is a part of the information in the other party's mind that was read from a distance. The reason is because that set of clothes has the function of interfering with brain waves and interfering with knowledge and color. So world government, really, a lot of work was done on him. It's okay. Asa sighed slightly, but it's just okay. The entire army of the 23 franchised countries was annihilated, and all parties were aware of it. The first to be discovered were the secret agents of the CP organization, followed by the Marines Rear Admiral Vice Admiral, including the CPO. They're a little outside, which is close. Those who have excellent knowledge are all the first to investigate the situation there. Empty. Before they figured out what was going on, their knowledge led them to investigate HOTS for a few days. Also this, after realizing something, my heart gradually became numb. When I was about to report, noticed the voices of the Charlotte brothers and sisters again, especially Ace's. Feel for a moment, they found knowledgeable color, as if caught in Uzumaki, madness poured into him. Not good, quickly pull away and come back. However, no matter how they broke away, they couldn't shake this suction force. The Rear Admiral level didn't even last for 3 seconds. The color of seeing and hearing is sucked out. All 5 senses blacked out. I fell down on the spot. I don't know if I will live or die. Also, the Vice Admiral level and CPO in the headquarters seemed to have been recruited, even if the knowledge reached the Grandmaster level. Very skilled, still stepped on the nest. Even because the color of knowledge is stronger, the devouring power becomes stronger. Extend directly along the air of hockey. Boom. On a Vice Admiral, a purple fading ignited out of thin air. I can't see, can't hear, he has eroded all my senses. Quick, report up, it's Charlotte Asa. That guy has become stronger. You can't look at him directly with knowledge. His munch fruit has been developed, it can swallow chi from the air. After he screamed, in the confused eyes of many subordinates, he spontaneously ignited in the air. Like touching some kind of taboo. But the strange thing is that Xian has no temperature. Burned to the end. Apart from the bleeding from the 7 orifices, the distorted face, and the more painful shouting, there was no other effect. Everyone can see. He was fine physically, but in terms of mental strength, he suffered a huge blow. Can't hold on for long. Vag Vice Admiral, quick, medical staff. Munch fruit, and Charlotte Asa, can swallow the color of knowledge. How could there be such an outrageous thing? What happened to the north? The high ground, surrounded by forts, was a little chaotic for a while. This made other thoughtful people who wanted to probe Ace's side withdraw their perception in great fear. Include Barry Rock Redfield. The other side, he, who followed Rocks and others, was strolling in the courtyard, with a very ugly expression on his face. Heavy head, as if just now, he was hit by an unprecedented blow. After turning around, I broke out in a cold sweat, and it was unbelievable. It's his method. Redfield's knowledge range is extremely wide. So release it everywhere, get the battlefield news at the first time, but feel the moment of Asa. The scary thing happened. Devour. As a result, he could only forcibly disconnect the connection of knowledge and color, and only then escaped. Fruit ability. Or hockey. Hockey's words. Incomprehensible. Did he break through to the top level? On the other hand, Redfield himself, until now, has not the slightest clue. When the road is over, there is no road. For a while, some of the confidence he had accumulated with great difficulty was crushed again, and the shadow of Ace's inner demon in his heart also reappeared. But the same, with a higher and newer state, let him ignite his ambition again. Hello, Redfield. Over the noisy outer battlefield, Shiki roared at him. The ones on the marine side are about to be surrounded. Don't be distracted. He just finished speaking. On the mountain, Kong took 3 admirals, Zephyr, Sengoku, and a strange Nia admiral. And Vice Admiral Garp. 5 super top fighters surrounded Rocks, the strongest captains. Rocks. Today is the day of your destruction. Kong's justice cloak is floating, and the momentum begins to rise. Sengoku and the others are searching for Asa. The figure was not found. All of them frowned. Bahahahahaha. I wanted to get rid of the maggot-like celestial dragons first, but I didn't expect to be stopped by you livestock again. No way. I have to kill all 5 of you. Rocks laughed wildly. His eyes passed through the mountain peak, and the eyes of the world noble who fled in embarrassment flashed fiercely. There are so many strong people in such a trash guy. Willing to serve. Protect. It's too inappropriate. While he was thinking about it, sweeping towards Newgate, Shiki, Redfield and others behind him, and then looking up, see if you Marines are stronger. Or are we pirates ruthless? Soon, the 2 sides found a good match, and a burst of strong fluctuations broke out. Brother, quote, that kid Kaido broke through from the other side. North Mountain Pass. Just as Linlin approached, several giant doors suddenly landed and blocked him. She frowned, but didn't take it seriously. Should we help Rocks first, or go deep in until we want it? Hear the words. Asa took back some of the conquerors. Yes, conquerors. Those who have just spied on here basically have no good fruit to eat. This is also, after his conqueror's supernatural awakening, the additional derived ability is the upgraded knowledge kill. Literal meaning, the power of deterrence, and the devouring power of gluttony. He can deter anyone who has seen and heard the past, so as to absorb its color of knowledge. It can be understood as killing people along the network line. So, no matter how top-notch other people's knowledge is, trying to target him, it's useless. This is one of the abilities. The one that is really powerful is the power similar to Hegemony's territory. No, it's stronger than that. Back to God. Asa walked to the Iron Gate. To get something, you have to get rid of what's in the way. I want to solve the problem. He pushed towards the giant door with one palm. We must let them all gather together. After all, the light golden armed color twisted out. 6 kilometers away, near the core area of the Valley of the Gods, the celestial dragons are rushing to the refuge area. Among them, an army admiral named Tyron is in charge of escorting the whole process. Untouchables. Them all. In this way, there will be no so-called pirates. Why are you so stupid? Can't you persuade them not to attack? These celestial dragons, male, female, old and young, were sitting on the strange beast carriages, cursing. Land Admiral didn't say anything. After a few seconds, ripples appeared in the air ahead. A frightened man in white jumped out. He was the head of the CPO, and he glanced behind him. Various mountains block. Soldiers surrounded. Breathe a sigh of relief. It's safe now. The only one who can escape after the provocation is over. No, escape without injury, right? Door fruit. It's just convenience. There was an accident. Nuo Qian Zhao and the kings of the franchise countries all died. He restrained his mind and looked forward. Tyron Admiral, according to the original plan, let's cooperate with those few to join the battle. Everyone. Before Tai Lun was surprised, the head of the CPO quickly looked at the celestial dragons. Please enter my door. The inside is the safest, and it will keep you safe and sound until the end. Jumping out the door, after calming down, he patted his clothes. Very politely, stretching out his hands, he made a gesture of inviting you to enter. The safety of the celestial dragons. Most important. It is acceptable to have 2 or 3 accidents. If there are too many losses in this battle, will the creator have any descendants? As for all dead, haven't considered. If it really happened, the Valley of the Gods was afraid, so he didn't dare to think about it. HMPH, you came too late. What a waste. The one who pretended to be our ancestor and lied to us. We must find out. I can't forgive you. That's right, that's disrespectful. Mother, if the culprit is caught, I will trample him under my feet and ravage him every day. Okay, mine. The celestial dragons in spacesuits proudly stepped off the carriage, just as they were about to step into the door. Behind the head of the CPO, a light golden shock wave strikes. Boom, the light brushed past him, and immediately swept directly into the many celestial dragons in front of him. Wait until visibility returns. The head of the CPO, who only has half life left, sees the front of the air door. 80 or 90 celestial dragons, all turned into blood foam and bone dregs, were sprinkled on the ground. Those who escaped by chance fell limply on the ground, trembling, unable to scream anymore. On the side, Army Admiral Tyrone, glancing behind the CPO team, I found that it was empty except for a mountain without any decorations. No one. What's the matter? Also at this moment, because the celestial dragons were nearly wiped out, countless indescribable gazes gathered here. The air freezes quickly. Unprecedented storm, soon to fall. Just now, what happened? Here, celestial dragons, there are only a few left. Do you want to come to the rescue? If all the nobles in the world die, we will also be buried with them. Seeing this scene, the CP agents, scientific troops, and marines in the distance were all trembling. Celestial dragons. That's a slice of celestial dragons. The total number is only so small, and in the blink of an eye, 99% of them will be wiped out. It's going crazy. Back to the front. A few single seedlings of celestial dragons are shaking like quails at the moment. The head of the CPO, who lost half of his body, was hit and rolled on the ground, only half alive, with a pale face, unable to express his emotions anymore. Army Admiral Tyrone. It's okay though. But he was also caught off guard by the sudden blow. Just like the head of the CPO, he couldn't understand it. It must be fruit ability. Charlotte Aces, a person with special abilities. Ability, attack here. Single quote. In the midst of severe pain, the head of the CPO ushered in great fear in his heart. Celestial dragons died, so many completely screwed. Also at this moment, after contemplating for a long time, the voice of the old man resounded from afar. Tyrone, you too. Protect the rest. The corresponding reinforcements will be transferred here as soon as possible. In the calm voice, there is unparalleled weight and ultimate affection. Even if there was no movement. It was my mistake, there will be no second time. Tai Lun closed his eyes and opened them, his complexion recovered. Spread your feet in a circle. The ground squirmed. The package is on the head of the CPO, and a few celestial dragons are left. It was him who used the ability of the clay fruit to turn them into clay bodies. This is similar to the waxy fruit, the special paramesha. So, even if it happens again, beat the cattle across the mountain. He can also transfer the bodies of several celestial dragons and survive. This is your ability. Why didn't you activate it earlier? The head of the CPO shouts. He could feel that his wounds were healed under the clay, slowing down the deterioration. It is also similar to possessing an elemental body. If sooner, to the celestial dragons. This feeling, what's going on? Ah, no, something came in. Several celestial dragons start screaming. All right, the chief of the CPO understands the admiral of the army, even if it is something that can save lives, for the noble celestial dragons. It doesn't have to be disgusting, just acceptable. The dog gnaws the red lotus. 8-foot Chong Guyu. Thunder 8 trigrams. Sudden. 3 dense roars, accompanied by the explosion of amazing moves. It sounded from the top of the mountain in front. Boom. Heads of the whole mountain collapsed. Not long after, a body burning with lava drew out black smoke and fell in a parabola. Call out. After he falls, quickly rally Marine wearing the marine hat. After a few seconds, another dazzling light flashed, and it turned into a young man in yellow short sleeves. And in the thick fog in front of them, another man holding an iron rod came. The head has horns. Drunk. But in terms of figure and breadth, it seems that he is not a good character. That is, the Kaido of the beasts of Wangguo. Those two Marines are ours. It's Sakazuki, Pelusalino, they are Marines' new class of super talents. These noisy voices all come from distant positions. They dare not come over, but it's okay to be distracted by the situation here. Ahead, just when the three of them were about to continue fighting. Blue blue blue. Pelusalino's phone buzzed. After searching for a while, he found it quickly and successfully connected it. It's not as old and forgetful as later generations. Pelusalino, are you with Sakazuki? Roger pirates, this shit-stirring stick is approaching the battlefield, there must be no good intentions. You two, separate one of you and bring a detachment to help. The voice over there fell. The two immediately looked at each other. Roger pirates, the rapidly rising super pirate group second only to Rocks. They are here too, but the two still have rivals now. Before replying to the phone bug, the deep voice of Army Admiral Tyron rang behind the two of them. Two boys from Marine, go ahead. The one in front named Kaido, since it belongs to Charlotte Asa, leave it to me. This kind of combat power is not low. Get him. Maybe it can make Asa throw a mouse. Army Admiral's yellow cloak flutters. Anyway, he is also Admiral, taking down a junior pirate in a short time. Not a problem. This is indeed the case. After Tyron passed the two of them, the ground suddenly turned into clay, directly entangled Kaido's feet. At the same time, the clay turned into tens of meters long super tentacles, which were astonishingly huge. There were 10 of them. With the slight turn of the mind, it is all burst. Armed color, octopus. The voice fell. It's all covered. Admiral level impact power. Haki who wounds the inner destruction, gets a complete catharsis. Shish, PFF'd. Poke on Kaido's body, and in an instant, a 100-meter air wave spread out. In groups, endlessly. Dash. After the round of consumption just now, after taking this blow repeatedly, the viscera are throbbing for a while, it is very uncomfortable. As time superimposes, it keeps regressing. Small blood holes also appeared on the overbearing body. For regular Vice Admiral, that's the result of being killed in seconds, it won't be intentional. It's actually pretty good that he can persist for so long. Court death. Kaido's eyes are tearing apart. His muscles start to swell. However, under Admiral's absolute control, more clay clings to his body, tightly restraining him, and restraining him. Can't exert power at all. Pelusalino. Sakazuki was slightly surprised by the Land Admiral, but at the same time he breathed a sigh of relief. You can go, with this Army Admiral here, take down this Kaido soon. Ah, as expected of a top combat force. Pelusalino's astonishment is undisguised. Yes, the time they made a phone call, the opponent who was anxious just now was about to be subdued. Army Admiral. According to the current performance, the strength is not much worse than their Marine Admiral. But, Sakazuki, he scratched his head with his index finger, I probably don't have to go. Huh, what do you mean? Suddenly, the Roger pirates didn't intend to start a war with our Marine. Pelusalino pouted, with a strange expression. Not only that, but also communicated with Vice Admiral Garp, and assigned someone to help us. As soon as this remark came out, let alone Sakazuki, the surrounding people were all stunned. Not only here, South Side, what happened after the Gold Jackson docked made all parties confused. Roger pirates, what the hell are you doing? They're working with Marine. If it wasn't for the secrets and treasures of the Valley of Gods. That is to use Marine's hand to wipe out the Rocks pirate, so as to replace their dominance. It's disgusting, but it's a big piece of material, isn't it? Far away in the Valley of the Gods. People from the World Economic News Agency are using the most advanced equipment to conduct long-shot observations. Make a first-hand record. After logging in, where is Roger? Rayleigh and Jabba, gone too. Wait. The camera can be seen clearly after being slowed down 50 times, they seem to be heading north. As Asa kills the celestial dragons in the air, until only a few are left. All parties on the battlefield. All the shadows burst out at a frightening speed, rushing to the celestial dragons. There are Marines and pirates. The purpose is self-evident. Asa's behavior touched Linlin, it was too bad and arrogant. Also, many people also rushed to Asa's side, the one with the special weapon, and 2 alternate admirals, and even stronger existences. On the other hand, Kaido, being blasted, while restrained, he can't move much, and at the same time, he is shot by Sakazuki, the most destructive lava punch. Clouds of lava burst out of it. One more bloody mouth. However, his vitality is still strong. Now, Charlotte Ace's account, I'm on you. Sakazuki's face is covered with lava, and the temperature and impact, along with anger, are blessed to the limit. Charlotte Ace, the person who killed his closest relatives, that is, the former chief instructor of Marine. It also made him full of hatred for pirates. Join Marine, Sebe, earlier. Cultivation, revenge. Sooner or later, I swear, I will also get rid of all his family members. As for difficulty, Charlotte Ace is strong, especially his famous slashing power. For him who can elementalize. The threat is not great. Uwu, idiot, you Marines don't look for trouble yourself, Master Ace has no reason, how could it be? Not to mention, facing you Marine, if we don't stand up and resist, are we still waiting to be caught and killed? With a roar, Kaido opened the dragon form of the phantom beast species. The figure is more rough and crazy. Horns, dragon scales, dragon claws. Physical fitness has been improved in all aspects. Amazon Cloud Sword. The long sword condensed by the light beam severely cut off a large piece of dragon scale. Flash flying. Kaido groaned in pain, but he still held on and made a move. Thunder. A thunderstorm exploded. Pelusilino transforms into light particles and disperses. Sakazuki was blown up, his figure was slightly messy, but he still didn't care. The strongest blow broke out. Go to hell, Dark Hound. When his fiery red lava body is about to pierce Kaido. Sudden, intensive slashes appeared on his body. Between splashes of red liquid. All crack, dissipate. At the same time, a lot of sticky mud that bound Kaido was also cut, to let him break free to breathe. It's Charlotte Ace's ability, Land Admiral reminded, and immediately looked to the side. You too, are you okay? No problem, Pelusilino laughed. His slash doesn't have any effect on Logia. Sakazuki also responded coldly. But the eyes. But staring at Kaido, the man floating down. Also. Chief of CPO. As well as the several celestial dragons who did not withdraw, as well as the spies who came to help, their bodies were all stiff. Once the Emperor of the Sea. The existence that has been in the headlines many times, but has disappeared for many years, Charlotte, Ace. A little bit late. Well enough. Ace patted Kaido on her ring finger. His sword wounds, stab wounds, and burns all healed quickly under the hazy white light. This looked across, mouth Kakuzu was twitching. It was so hard to make it like this, and in the blink of an eye, it was intact. The power of noble phantasm. But, the injury can be recovered, but the consumption of physical strength should not work. Master Ace. Kaido got up again, grabbed the mace tightly, his eyes overflowed with excitement, I'll do it again. This time for sure. Okay. Ace interrupted him with a wave of his hand, and immediately glanced at the celestial dragons who were firmly guarding behind everyone. Charlotte Ace. Army Admiral blocked his line of sight. It seems that your sister is prevented from coming. All right, the former Emperor of the Sea, as the strongest on land, I will try it alone. How many caddies and tails of yours? He is not afraid. You guys still want to stop Master Ace? Kaido smiled disdainfully. 2 marine geniuses, a semi-disabled CPO corps, plus Army Admiral. These guys are really crazy. Then what if? Plus our Roger pirates. Language fall. 3 rays of light came across, flashing in front of several celestial dragons at a speed that 90% of the audience could not see clearly. Charlotte Ace. Quote. Finally we meet. I have been waiting for this day for 14 years. Ha. Headed by none other than Roger. He straddles the supreme great quick knife. His domineering aura, even if restrained, still makes others feel trembling. Plus Rayleigh and Jabba. A trio. Facing rocks is not afraid. It's them. Kaido's eyes widened. The Marines were a little surprised, but they weren't too surprised because they received the notification. Roger pirates. So meeting for the first time. Quote. Ace didn't care, just paced forward. Are you going to cooperate with Marine to protect celestial dragons together? Ah, how can you say that? Roger shook his head and touched the hilt of the knife. There are slaves. Strange to say, 80 or 90 celestial dragons were dead, and hundreds of slaves were a thing of the past. Slave, I can let it go. No one could have imagined that Asa would have this side, but it was limited to this. Others, it's not enough. Stop. Army Admiral, stepping out, interrupted him. Stay away, Charlotte Asa. It hasn't appeared for more than 10 years. With an overwhelming land aura, he began to activate his ability. Your power is no longer unsolvable. However, Asa didn't even look at him, just held out a hand. When will the worm dare to come out and intervene? The fingertips are condensed with golden light. Under infinite compression, they are wrapped in thick purple. Destroy energy gathering. Across the space, it hit Army Admiral Tyron's forehead. Taylor's first thought was disdain. A joke, another slash. No matter how strong it is. He turned on his armed hardening early on, and even has special clothing plus the ability of clay fruit. He can escape at any time when he touches the ground. Here is the source of confidence. It doesn't matter if he can't stop it. His ability can kill everything in front of him. Only, his second thought, by Asa, the moment I tap it on my forehead, I start to panic instantly. Because of the purple light, I ignored everything. Charlotte, he didn't finish his sentence. In the back, Marine, the two super geniuses, the CPO team, and Roger are watching. His forehead, it turns into a purple particle energy wave, which dissipates with the wind. And this is just the beginning. 3 seconds, from his head to his neck, to his limbs, abdomen, and legs. All smashed into purple particles. Ignore hockey. Ignore special clothes. Ignore the fruit ability, similar to the elemental escape. Ignore his so-called confidence. In the clear vision of the audience, Asa pointed and killed him. This one is comparable to the existence of Marine Admiral. The audience could hear a needle drop. Change to 14 years ago. No one dares to get close to Asa. Now, time will forget everything after all. Call. Gone with the wind. The moment before Tai Lun disappeared, his expression was extremely painful and helpless. No, it's not. Is it the armed color? No, it is beyond the armed color, another kind of power. The pain this brings has surpassed the body, together with the spirit and soul, destroys everything that he exists in this world. Also obliterated. Last minute, the only thing he could do, roughly, was hold up with his stout single arm. The veins on the back of the hand are twisted, stretching and shaking with all my might. Send out a distress call for help to those around you, or send out a warning signal to others. With the Tyranids dying, the clay clone he originally controlled, as well as the clay tentacles that he wanted to attack Asa, all disintegrated and collapsed. The celestial dragons and the CPO chief lost their protection. Did we read it right? Known as the strongest existence in the land army, its strength is comparable to Marine Admiral's Tyron. It was really crushed to death like an ant. What kind of power is it? The Marines participating in the battle in the distance tremble. Army Admiral, even if it's not as good as Marine Admiral, just a little bit worse. But again, you shouldn't die like this. How much limelight was there before? Just shot. It can be restrained in an instant. The two Marine super rookies, young pirates that neither of them can take down. Now, such an existence would die if it said it would die. And the ones that have the greatest impact are the army. What they admire, worshipped. It is even more unacceptable that the goal I have pursued all my life is killed like ants. Is this reality okay? Somewhat strangely, in their minds, the impression of Tai Lun began to dissipate. Mu Qing. This feeling, like, after being turned into a toy by children's fun fruit, all the existence of that person, and everyone's memory of him. Erase all. This kind of being forgotten by everyone, does not exist, is sometimes more terrifying than death. Call. Surprisingly, it's not over yet. After the purple light brushed over Tai Lun, the remaining energy turned into transparent purple waves the size of a basketball. Slowly, floating to Marine's two super geniuses. Yes, Tyrone Admiral, it didn't run out of energy. Amazon Cloud Sword. Pelusalino, pull out the sword of light again, and throw it at this ball. However, just touching it, it is destroyed. It dissolves easily. Unstoppable. Lian Guang. It can't be stopped. It's unstoppable. This is the strength of the former emperor of the sea. Pelusalino hesitated. Subconsciously take a step back. It's just that he retreated, but there was a red shadow, going in the opposite direction and taking a step forward. Eyes darkened. Stare at this group of nothing, ignore all the purple balls. There is no flinching in the dictionary. If you can't even bear the remaining energy fluctuations, how can you become a Marine in the future? Martial Marine. He changed the lower caliber. So what about Marine Admiral? If you already point Army Admiral, Marine Admiral is even 10 hairs stronger than him. Twice, probably not. So, he wants to be stronger. Get stronger. If you can't even stop this, how can you kill all the pirates in the world? Talking about peace. Revenge on you. Charlotte Asa. Looking at the enemy who was close at hand, Sakazuki strengthened his mind and broke out a wave that shocked many people. Many people fainted on the spot. At this moment, Sakazuki, awakened Conqueror's Haki. Whether there is an original book or not, Sakazuki has it now. Conquerors. Pelusalino. It hurts, Sakazuki. As a soldier, I don't cry out for pain. Sakazuki resolutely. Push the lava fruit that has been eaten in the body to ultimate to turn it into a lava man. Match the only armament Haki. Feet bent, the ground cracked. Simulating the impact energy of the crater, like a tough guy of steel, he plunged into the purple group directly. Ziz. Crack. However, inside Ultimate's destructive wave, the tough guy lasted 3 seconds before breaking. There was a sharp cry. It's louder than killing an old sow. Sakazuki tried to use elementalization to dodge, but this destruction wave can crush even elements. Broken. Terrifying. 4 seconds. 5 seconds. 6 seconds. Purple wave dissipated. Drenched in blood, Sakazuki turned into a naked man and fell limply to the ground. Eyeballs rolled. Teeth chipped. The 7 orifices were covered with black blood. Flesh, blur. Well, he really couldn't hold on to Yubo, he was too ambitious. Now, Roger dissipated heat, seeing Tyron and Sakazuki, they were so vulnerable, or after testing Ace's strength with his life. Originally eager to try, wanting to have a hearty battle, the movement of drawing the knife was slightly stagnant. Put the knife back. The mentality is also a little burst. Can you kill Tyron like this? Can you kill them like this? Roger probably won't, but Rayleigh and Jabba, it's a little dangerous. Unless, can avoid this force. If you think about it, it can still be targeted. Because of this destructive wave, the speed doesn't seem to be fast, and Asa must also consume a lot of energy. You guys, you can try. Asa, who was walking forward, did not absorb Tyron's life energy area. One is to look down on. The second is that the elimination is too clean, and it is not sucked. Armed color awakening. Destruction energy. All traces can be erased, including memory, other people's memory of it. Except Asa can remember. Other people. It's only going to get blurry. This is also the awakening of armed color, which touches another ability. Very scary. Almost all traces are gone. Certainly. Except life energy. The ability of Devil Fruit is very special, it cannot be dissipated, it is still sucked away by Asa, and it exists in the belly world. It seems. Roger tensed his body to the extreme. Your strength has increased by more than a little bit, and many people have been deceived by you. Have I lied to you? Asa looked strange. Roger took a deep breath, not knowing what to do, and he didn't dare to do anything, let alone continue on that topic. Are you really determined to kill the celestial dragons? Without them, there will be no world government. Rocks rule, the world will be more chaotic. He blocked a few celestial dragons alone. But Ace's words made him a little dazed, and then he felt that there was nothing wrong. Who said, let the rocks rule? The world government taken over by celestial dragons has already become like this, and it has been governed by other people. No matter how bad it is, how bad it can be. Asa smiled. It seemed to see through everything. Okay, don't delay, I know you are waiting for rocks to die. Then, everyone's eyes and spearheads are all on me, right? As soon as the words came out, Rayleigh and Jabba both held their weapons and looked at Roger in the center. Roger grinned instead, very calmly. Then you should also understand that you still have time to quit, right? Asa, strong as rocks. I can't stop the cooperation of many top combat forces, including are you sure to stop it? Roger still pulled out the supreme sword, Ace. Immediately. Doubly superimpose armed colors and conquerors. Knife down. Admiral level combat power. I am afraid that I am not completely sure that I can block it. Edge. Rayleigh Jabba. Also a sword drawn. A double axe drawn. But the target is not Asa, but flying over the front, the sense of oppression is not inferior to Roger's existence. Charlotte Linlin. Brother. Those who got in the way, have all been resolved. Linlin swings Napoleon. Brother and sister. Double pressure. Both ways. Now, the three of Roger are even more uncertain. Boom. Sudden. The entire Valley of the Gods was shocked. It attracted many eyes, including Asa. Rocks. Is he dying? Asa raised her eyes flickering. For the sake of our allies, let me help you extend your life. His robe rises automatically in the absence of wind. Look to the sky. The densely packed airships are constantly dropping bombs towards a certain place. Including those who killed each other, the total number of people is more than 100,000 to 200,000, which is as many as a cow's hair. And it is rocks who face these shocks. The three of Roger looked puzzled. What's the meaning? No matter how fast the distance from rocks is, it will take at least a minute. How to help? Can it affect the battlefield over there? Or did you send someone else over there? Wrong. Didn't perceive a large number of intruding strange breaths at all. The number of Marines is still dominant. Even with reinforcements, on such a huge-scale battlefield, what kind of power is needed to affect the battle situation? Make waves. Is it weird? Besides, who said that the army can affect the battlefield? Linlin waved Napoleon, and changed his voice. Didn't you always think that my brother's ability is munch fruit? If not, when Jabba subconsciously said it, the ears of the CPO team pricked up in an instant. See for yourself. Language fall, When they found Asa again, they saw him already on a hill. The whole body is surging. His pupils turn into dark red. As if spinning Uzumaki attracts all surrounding objects. Let's do a big cleaning, and I'll take a look by the way. Where is the limit? Asa put both hands together, the energy wave squeezed. Endless purple fluctuations ignited, blowing his clothes and 3,000 strands of hair in a whistling sound. Knowledge color, along with the devouring attraction, infinitely extend upwards. And behind him, then a thick purple shadow of Manos Grande rises. Like a god and demon, constantly helping to bless the power. Finally reached a terrifying point. What you do? God, is there anything in the sky? Inside the Valley of the Gods. In a rocky area, a large number of airships passed by, dropping shells one by one, causing countless losses to the pirates. Fortunately, Shiki is here. One sword cut through more than 10 airships, which brought a little improvement to the tone. Let the formation not be so chaotic. But right now, when he wants to expand the results of the battle, a wave of distorted super-gravity suddenly presses down on him. On Shiki, in an instant, like carrying 10 mountains on his back, he fell straight down from the sky, smashing out a crater tens of meters wide. Which fool is it? Newgate, didn't I ask you to help lousy block it? People. He was blown away. Shiki roared, feeling extremely uncomfortable in his viscera. Just when he was about to stand up again, the sky dropped orange gravity waves again. Hell tour. A very majestic voice came from above. Boom, boom, shock. The place where Shiki was, seemed to be pierced through, turned into an abyss, and was pitch black. Shiki also disappeared. Call out. Next, a large number of special bombs are dropped from the sky, killing the Rocks Regiment, a member of Admiral. It's just that life and death are unknown. The others were not much better, and the captains of each section suffered setbacks one after another. Also the capable men around Rocks. One after another less to go. Some saw that the situation was wrong, and even ran away directly. Like Newgate. No, not so much a jump. It's not that it was a blow. After being blown away, like Shiki, it disappeared without a trace. Among them, the most stupid one is the Red Earl. As I walked, I stopped and hugged my head, as if my spirit had been hit. What? Someone hammered him out of thin air. In short, it disappeared without a trace. Rocks know. They have already lost the desire to fight, and they did not force them to stay, nor could they stay at all. You're left alone, Rocks. On a steep hill, the commander-in-chief of the three armies Shu, who had an overview of the overall situation, retracted the knife and looked down invincibly. Now, Rox was surrounded by 4 people: Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, Admiral. 4 people worked together. No matter how strong Lux was, he couldn't bear the terrifying fluctuations that erupted in the power of the combined attack. He was actually not at first, facing 4 people at the same time. Pity. Fighting and fighting, people's hearts are broken, and people betray their relatives. Obviously, as long as you give him some time and a little delay, you can defeat them one by one. Bahahahahaha. It's not that Lousy didn't expect it, it's just that they didn't expect them to run so fast. But it's not over yet. Lousy's journey is far from over. When Rox compresses the power of dark fruit and spreads it out, the gravity in the sky is pressing hard, instantly dispelled more than half of the black mist that opened up. Rox, are you waiting, Charlotte's Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces Point Shu. Gravity is used like an arm, and even Rox is suffering under his knife. Don't think about it, an army admiral, and the 3 strongest members of the Roger Pirates already stopped it. These 2 brothers and sisters, how can they have the ability to come and intervene? Don't worry, they'll be next. The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces stood up in the air, looked down at Rox from a high position, and said, as a sinner, kneel down. Say it. Orange wave surges downwards. Bahahahahaha. Rox laughed wildly, and Ace's legs were slightly bent by gravity, but he still stretched out his hands. When he was about to do something, his movement stopped. Asa, it's you, is it you? He seemed to have discovered something, and laughed even more wildly. It turns out that this is your ability. You lied to me, you lied to Lousy. Bahahahahaha. Now, the 4 who planned to surround and deal with Rox in one go also frowned. Asa, what are you hiding? Ability. He's Paramesha, the one with the fruit ability. What's wrong? Then, what is that? Thinking about. They opened their eyes wide and looked up suddenly. The Commander-in-Chief of the 3 armies in midair was also the first to raise his head. That's a meteorite. HMPH, mere meteorite. I am a gravity fruit-capable person, and I can also pull down meteorites. But after a few seconds, wait for the perception to be clear. His tone paused again, his pupils stretched to ultimate. No, not right. That rascal, the ability of that guy, munch fruit, to do this kind of thing. Chapter 91. Holy shit, munch fruit. He, the Commander-in-Chief of the 3 armies, has this expression, let alone the people below. Then, what is that? Fruit ability? No, fruit ability can do it. Can it be this level? Meteorite? No, bigger than a meteorite. Meteor, or asteroid. In the face of this kind of power, what is the use of our fighting? Marine trembles. The exaggerated pirate even used his hands to support his ears, and his upward eyeballs popped out. Far bigger than a meteorite. The visual shock it brings is unimaginable. Looking around, not only the stunned people in the Valley of the Gods, the warships outside the island, pirate ships, even the Economic News Agency, and some bounty hunters who wanted to pick up the leak. They all looked up at the sky, dumbfounded. Meteor from the sky. Big news. Big news like never before. What about the news? I can't even save my life. Hurry up, drive to the distance, once it lands, let alone an island. We will be affected too. It's too late. Will someone block it? No, how can humans block this? People inside and outside are not calm anymore. Want to save yourself? Almost impossible. They really can't imagine how powerful human beings can fight against. What is that? The ancestors, the creator, have you really responded to us? The belly of the Valley of the Gods. The only remaining celestial dragons were ecstatic, calling for a miracle. God came to save them. But with the pressure approaching and the reminder from the head of the CPO, they also realized that this is not the same as the previous thunder cloud. Is it similar? It's all heaven. They are all here to take their lives. Immediately, a few celestial dragons collapsed in an instant, dumbfounded. The chief CPO has a hoarse throat. Although he has the fruit of the door and can run at any time, he still dare not move. Because I have a hunch, if I move a little, I will die. Life will be taken away instantly. Asa, enough is enough. If you do fall, you won't be able to escape yourself. Before the meteorite could be seen, Roger was the first to notice it and yelled out. Rayleigh Jabba by his side. It is the first time to start and rush forward. Clang. The sound of gold and iron screams. Charlotte Linlin stopped her. Yes, with just one sword in her arm, she blocked the joint attack of two people. My brother said, if it is impossible to deal with this level, then there is no need to continue this battle to the lower level. Sengoku, shall we do it? No, Rox is unattended, what should we do? Who knows what he will do? This meteor. Wait, my teacher, Tian Yang. That's no problem. He once summoned a meteorite. Now this one is just bigger. Can break. The other side. Garp and others surrounded the rocks, while staring at the rocks, and many sailors also cast light on the commander-in-chief of the armed forces Point Shu. As a commander-in-chief, even the overlords of the sea are suppressed, and they must have strength beyond their imagination. And the commander-in-chief Shu, sensing the targets below, and pinning his hopes on him, he quickly put away his expression and mood, and restored the face of the chief teacher of the third room. Posture. He is the spiritual leader of the army. How can you show it, even if you look surprised? So what if it's bigger than a meteorite? Ben Handsome. It can be broken with one force. He was gradually full of enthusiasm, as if he had returned to the right year. The peak moment. Gravity wave. King Kong, the commander-in-chief of the three armies, roared, and pulled famous sword in the opposite direction. While the cloak was flying, layers of gravity circles rose up. Orange surrounds him. Like an angry-eyed King Kong, accompanied by massive gravity waves, it spreads for hundreds of meters. Go straight up. The power is amazing. On the other hand, the sky won. Asteroids of several thousand meters break through from outer space, breaking through the barriers of the planet. Cut the body shape. Flame burning. Bless the impact. Mixed with unimaginable power. Pull out a strange light. Straight down. What greeted it was the distorted gravity wave below. Boss. It's our commander-in-chief. Very good. Who said it's unstoppable with a human body? Commander-in-chief, it will definitely work. Above the Valley of the Gods, among the hundreds of airships, many air forces had bright eyes and excited expressions. Even Air Force Admiral, who couldn't help but want to give it a go, also relaxed after seeing this scene. That's it for now. Under the attention of almost the whole audience and the eager eyes, the commander-in-chief Shu crossed hundreds or thousands of meters behind. One knife. Come to the end. World government. The commander-in-chief of the three armies, with a human body, shakes the sky. Will eventually. Commander-in-chief Shu's expression suddenly changed wildly. Wrong. The moment of collision. The squeezed gravity wave suddenly collapsed. The knife in his hand was suddenly bent and bounced off, bleeding from the tiger's mouth. Haven't responded yet. He was slammed into his chest by the meteorite, and with the huge force and turbulent impact, his eyeballs rolled over. A sweetness in the throat. Wow, a big mouthful of blood. The strong momentum suddenly fell. Then he was hit by meteorites and continued to smash down. Marine's cloak and his clothes, carried by the flames, all burn at a very fast speed. It's broken. Air Force Admiral Garp et al. As for the commander-in-chief Shu, his heart is screaming crazily. Wrong. This asteroid, no ordinary planet, has hockey applied. And what the hell is conquerors? This kind of thing. Hulong. The strong pressure brought by the meteorite even formed a hurricane, causing all the airships to become chaotic. Become extremely unstable. And the scene of the commander-in-chief is also extremely accurate, falling into the eyes of more people below. What's wrong? Where's the commander-in-chief? Why didn't you see the commander-in-chief? I see, but why did you throw away the knife and pick it up with your chest? Perhaps, a better ability to vent. Ha ha ha. Marine, you idiots, do you think your chest is broken by a big rock? He didn't block it at all. It didn't stop you from being happy. This time, everyone will die. Everyone didn't react at first, but soon, seeing the meteor paused for a while, they continued to slide. Those who put their hopes on lose simply started to get flustered. I come. Air Force Admiral withstood the pressure. Air battle. It's also his strong point. He doesn't dare to go head to head, but if he grasps his weaknesses, there will be a play. As expected, he used some kind of fruit power, and after touching the meteorite, it was forced to stop for a few seconds. This is also the case. Commander-in-Chief Shu took a breath. It still depends on you. Old man, After all, he is old and overestimates himself. Besides, I really didn't expect that. He can wrap around hockey in the air, covering such a large area. Commander-in-Chief Shu forcibly raised his breath to stabilize the injury. The reason why he can suppress rocks is only with the help of others. Indeed, own actual combat power, it has long been inferior to the new generation of Garp. Suddenly, he saw Admiral of the Air Force, with his purple face, secretly thought it was bad. Quickly charge up again. There is still an end. Clatter. Null. The burning gravel fell into the Valley of the Gods, at the feet of some people. Many people, the airship and the people below woke up. Those with weapons quickly used long guns and short cannons to attack the meteorites above. If there is a fruit, activate the fruit ability. Like another place, there are a large number of vines entangled upwards, entangled and drag the meteors in the sky. Be a master. There are many similar ones, but as the meteor soothes, it will break free soon. Intel. There is a super great swordsman. Slash out with one knife. Winding an invisible slash. Only then did the meteorite be split in half. Threat less than half. Simple. Not simple either. If it wasn't for the hockey entwined by the meteorite itself, it would be consumed by the Commander-in-Chief Shu, and the difficulty would drop sharply. It would still be unbreakable. Hold on. After taking a breather, Commander-in-Chief Shu exerted all his remaining strength, and wanted to work with everyone to smash the meteorite completely. But at this time, a sudden change occurred. That's right, the first one can barely stop it. But what about the second one? Ace's momentum rose again. His main target is still those few people. As for the rest of the spillover, Asa has no psychological burden. After all, Marine is the enemy. Since they are enemies, both sides must be conscious. As for the pirates, his allies are barely the rocks, not his rebels. Die, just die. Stop, Charlotte Asa. Stop continuing. Linlin was lured away by Jabba and Rayleigh, leaving only Roger. But the next second, another tall figure appeared. It was Marine Marshal Kong. Not only was he no less imposing than the Commander-in-Chief. Even in all aspects, even better. He was just the beginning, and around the bottom of Asa, the backs of peak combat power appeared one after another. As expected, there are also unexpected ones. They didn't try to stop the meteorite, but planned to kill Asa immediately. His threat is no less than rocks. Also, this meteorite proves that he wants to kill all of us. We are all softened. Let's go together. Let me tell you first, this is not about cooperating with you, but I personally want to see his limit. Language fall. These figures all rushed towards Asa. But it's too late. Call out. When the meteorites shattered into two sides are about to be smashed together. Above the Valley of the Gods, a larger fiery red shadow loomed over it, fully doubling in size, breaking through the sky and exceeding 10,000 meters. The visual sense is even more explosive. Once it is dropped, it will surely not grow a blade of grass. And this one, no more time for everyone to react. It smashed the first one directly, and the Air Force Admiral was caught off guard, and his life was directly taken away. Commander, fix it up. But less than a second later, the manic impact force made him faint as well. Asteroid, approaching quickly. Boss. Bahahahahaha, don't you guys still do it? Just watch and keep trapping lousy. Don't care about it. Rocks, you wait. After the four of them said a word, they all passed the Commander-in-Chief Shu at a teleportation speed. Basically, there is no one worse than the old man, the Commander-in-Chief. At the same top combat power. Even if there is a gap, it is a slight difference. One move per person. The four directions work together. In a burst of bright light, the second giant meteor burst out with an earth-shattering sound. It will eventually split and turn into a giant gravel. These stones. It was shrouded in a burst of light again, and then turned into a basketball-sized stone, and the haze in the sky dissipated. Crisis gets in touch. This is also the case, and everyone below is crying with joy. Total process. It looks easy to crack, but it is not simple. First of all, in terms of world government, the airship has just been under heavy pressure and crushed stones. There are hundreds of ships, all of which are scrapped. Other aspects. World government lost an Air Force admiral. In the end, the Commander-in-Chief of the three armies who is also seriously injured and dying, returned to a sliver of consciousness. Lying on the broken rock surface, coughing up blood, the breath of life is falling rapidly. Obviously, the damage caused by Ace's blow exceeded everyone's initial imagination. Cough, cough, cough. Is this the strongest move he has developed over the past 10 years? The commander-in-chief Shu became more and more powerless. It must be the strongest move, so let's stop here. His current consumption must be very large. Now is the best time to kill him. Bahahahahaha, old man, what are you talking about? The figure of Rocks appeared in front of him, Laozi's ally. His physical strength is beyond your imagination, and he won't be exhausted so quickly. Rocks. The commander-in-chief Shu Cheng propped up his burly body, panting heavily. Didn't escape. What do you mean? Garp and the others have already returned. What is their plan? Wait, you said Asa still has strength. Suddenly. What did he think of? You know him so well, what did you mean by the first words? You said he lied to you. Hiding your true abilities. What is it? Everyone is not a fool, and Ace's abilities are thrown out one by one. Now even the meteorite is summoned. What do you think? How unreasonable it is. So he is very curious. Only by knowing the real ability can we better target it. What ability does he have? Rocks showed a mysterious smile, with deep dimpled eyes, looking somewhere through thousands of meters. You can see for yourself, isn't it all right? Far away. After the hit, Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, and Nia are coming. Also inexplicably felt a certain breath. Things like meteorites and shooting stars are still not useful. It can only clear up the miscellaneous soldiers. However, the extreme devouring of the current form has almost been tried. Next step, inner abdomen. Asa is also expected, and the result is still there. Suddenly, his heart moved slightly. I feel that I have been surrounded by 4 amazing breaths. Respectively, a man with a straw hat. Roger, Marshal Marine, Kong, Captain Rocks, Whitebeard Edward Newgate, Rocks Alley, Red Earl Redfield. The 4 of them, all with various purposes, burst out killing intent towards Asa. I really didn't expect you two to join in. Newgate and Redfield, I remember, once let you go. Asa swept over the 4 of them. These people work together. Even Rocks, there is no way to win, right? Whitebeard, Gu la 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 la, sorry Asa, I have a reason to do so. You are so strong that I have never had the idea of a solo kill. The Red Earl opened his bloody eyes. If you want to go further, you must draw out your limit and see that you are defeated, so that my inner demons can dissipate. Asa. Roger also grinned. I'm excited, use all your strength, don't leave any regrets. Asa chuckled. One by one, since I want to see so much, my true strength. If I had been myself more than 10 years ago, I might still find it difficult to face these people at their peak. But now, that's good. What you've been saying, munch munch fruit calendar. Language fall. He tore his clothes. The body began to swell, and an extremely terrifying breath burst out. The puzzled eyes of the 4 people gradually became astonished, as if they had seen it with their own eyes, a monstrosity. Waking up, or some kind of mysterious blessing is in my body. I have a wider and more indulgent desire. The next second, on the well-proportioned muscles, fierce mist emerged from every pore, as if from the abyss, and finally connected with each other, covering his upper body. It turned into a robe, and as he hung in the air, it began to float slowly. Hulala. The sound of the wind was like waves, flapping in the ears of the 4 people. At this moment, Ace's invincible attitude seems to ignore all sentient beings. Gu la 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 la. Newgate held Kong Yunchi in his hand, his sharp eyes gradually darkened. What is he going to do? Could this power be the fruit awakening? He's here to help Roger. Precisely, to return this guy's favor. He originally thought that no matter how strong Asa was, he would not be able to compete against them who joined forces, and this matter was not difficult to accomplish. Only now, the situation seems to be a little different. Deeper power. Kong was noncommittal. I want to face 4 people at the same time, maybe this is the only explanation. It's shameful to cooperate with pirates and put it in the marine world. But it's actually pretty common. And fighting alone, with the exception of Rocks, the rest are not sure that they can match Asa. So does he. Be flexible. Ha. Awakening of Paramesha. Munch munch fruit. Roger looked up at Asa, wrapped the conquerors and armed colors around the knife. The unawakened munch fruit can suck asteroids from the sky. After awakening, what can he inhale? Munch fruit, sucking meteorites. Don't think these words are a bit messy. Normally, no one would believe it, but they just watched Asa do it. Scarlet delicacy. The red earl bleeds blood all over his body, and sticky matter is attached to the umbrella in his hand. Is this your limit? The four of them. It has been determined that Asa will open Fruit Awakening. That is Asa's last hole card, so they will naturally go all out. Newgate. You fool. Working with Roger and Marine. Going to deal with Charlotte Asa. What's the meaning? Could it be? Is it because you are afraid that Asa and Rox will team up to make a comeback in the Valley of the Gods, and finally settle accounts with you, a deserter? Shiki understood somewhat. Immediately after flying out of the 1,000-meter abyss, his body was in a bit of a mess. Let alone, the ability of the commander-in-chief is not bad, just right for his lion fruit. Wait, why did that guy's breath suddenly change like this? Dying. First chief. Who has the ability to beat him like this? Captain Rox. Tengai Shinsei just now. Shiki didn't meet him, so he didn't understand how dangerous and powerful Asa was before. How appalling. The volatility is getting bigger and bigger. Newgate, is this a move? 4 breaths. There's also Asa in the middle. Hey, he was able to suck away my knowledge, and he almost fell for it. Where does such a strange ability come from? Sensing thousands of meters away, Shiki's eyelids trembled slightly, and he smiled lowly. Gia ha 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 ha. But that guy, surrounded by 4 people, no matter how strong you are, it will stop here. He is not reconciled to Asa. She was not killed by her own hands. Instead, he was killed by the alliance of Marine and pirates. Just like the rocks before it. The 4 admiral-level fighters in front of them are bound to lose. No, burst seed, maybe it can last for a while. But I can't turn it over. And Asa's side. The pressure of the 4 people they faced was no worse than that of Rox, and even surpassed it by a lot. The ending is fixed. Lousy still think about how to get away first. He put away his 2 knives and was about to leave when suddenly his footsteps paused for a few seconds. Look at Asa again. Fireball from the sky. Blade Mother's flame. Ice flash. In the forest far away from Roger and others, large fireballs fell, creating large charred pits. Many passing pirate marines were affected and turned into ashes directly. Even if it's the 3rd in command of Roger's regiment, Jabba. As the 2 axes opened and closed, they split one after another, but they gradually became powerless. Without him, it's too dense. More than balls. On the top, there will be a fire blade from time to time. The temperature is high. Great power. He just ate it once, and flew upside down hundreds of meters away, crashing into more than 10 giant trees. Can't resist at all. Not to mention, in addition to fire, that woman has other continuous elemental attacks. Except for Captain Roger, I am the strongest in the regiment. But Asa, the younger sister. Jabba was in the flames, her hands were split open, and she gasped heavily. She is completely invincible, her strength is at least twice as strong as mine. Boom, boom. Rayleigh also fell to his side, covered in ice scum all over his body, in extremely poor condition. Rayleigh, you too. Jabba was a little scared. You have controlled the Conqueror's entanglement, but you can't stop it. Rayleigh half bent his legs, his forehead was covered with sweat stains. Together, Admiral can win. However, when I met Charlotte Linlin, I couldn't go head-to-head at all. This woman's fighting power was almost equal to Roger. Even beyond. Really, like a brother, there must be a sister. They didn't dare to think about it. Etc. They looked towards the sky where the pink shadow was approaching. We are curious about a question. How did you practice, Charlotte Linlin? That's what my brother taught me. As soon as Linlin said the words, he felt something was wrong, and he blushed silently. It's good to teach. Rayleigh and Jabba looked at each other. Aren't you worried about your brother Asa? He just attracted such a large meteorite, the consumption must not be small. Rayleigh saw that she was going to chop. He couldn't bear it anymore, and he had no choice but to stop. The 4 people your brother is facing, each of them is stronger than us. He expected, when Charlotte Linlin rushes over, Asa should also be defeated, and then she will fall into the trap even more. How to deal with it, how to deal with it. No, it should be handed over to the world government, as agreed before. Do not talk nonsense. Linlin grabbed Napoleon again, wanting to kill the two of them quickly. Kill you. I will go to reinforce me, Zhang. Just as she combined the four elements. Ice, fire, thunder, wind. All together. When he was about to give them a devastating blow, he held Napoleon's hand, paused suddenly, and cast a deep glance in the direction of his brother. Brother, are you going to use that trick? Hasn't it always been imperfect? Linlin hesitated for a while, then gritted his teeth. It was also during these few seconds that Zeus carried her and ran non-stop. You don't even need to order, that's because you've worked hard, and I'm afraid it will be affected by a second later. So fast. What a contrast. Both of Jabba Rayleigh were dumbfounded. As this, fleeing in the opposite direction, not only didn't go to help his brother, but slipped away. What did you find? Based on the relationship between the Charlotte brothers and sisters, they shouldn't do such a thing. Afraid. When the meteorite fell, there was such a great sense of crisis. She didn't slip away, not afraid. Now what does this mean? Have what? Could it threaten her? Thinking of Charlotte Linlin's temperament, I guess she would dare to pick four, but now she is so careless. I really don't understand. Jabba, look over there first. Charlotte Asa, are you flying? No, does he want to escape too? But high altitude will become a target. But he didn't move. Suddenly, they all shut their mouths. Because the four of Roger have launched an offensive in four directions, which caused a strong wave of energy. Driven by the hockey tide. Stop talking about it. Almost attracted the attention of the Valley of the Gods. Red scales leap. In order to get rid of the demons and go one step further, the Red Earl burned all his power. First Orchid, hold out an umbrella, a sword with condensed bleeding at the tip. It turned into a large number of bats, wrapped around the umbrella body, and turned into a tens of meters long spear. This blow, the other three looked at it and estimated its power, probably even the first asteroid that just fell can be crushed. Beloric Redfield. Kong was startled when he saw this, and immediately his breath condensed, and he also burst into a terrifying air. He still hides such strength. Then they Marine, naturally they can't lose. Not to mention, as the Marshal, he must show his style. To restore the face lost by the previous commander. Charlotte Asa, bury in the Valley of the Gods. Starting from the forehead, the oil shines out, covering the head, neck, and limbs in a blink of an eye. Even the whole body. This form, somewhat like the devil form of the later Bullet, but more terrifying than his form. Conqueror's power, already mutated, wrapped into the bones. Kong is just a nickname, the nickname before its peak, but now its hardness is actually far beyond mere steel. This blow is strong. It even attracted the attention of Garp Sengoku and others 10,000 meters away. Newgate, we're on too. Roger smiled excitedly and jumped into the air. Gu la 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 la. Newgate spun Kong Yunchi, followed by the other three, leaping high. Are you going to kill him? In that case, his sister will be sent to work. But out of respect. Respect for the strong, for the opponents who were once out of reach. He also exerted nearly 99% of his strength. After all, it was the Battle of Beehive Island. Still vivid. But he didn't use the fruit ability, perhaps, to keep Asa from being too embarrassed. Blood Dome Umbrella. Kong Broken Galaxy. God avoids. Wow, one last click. It's the sword glow from Newgate. As the world's strongest in the future, it's almost at its peak now. Power of a knife. Even splitting the island is not difficult. That's right, he split the previous meteorite. Anyway, four people work together in four directions. Even if the true gods and demons come, they must be scattered. Redfield, hanging in midair. Asa, in the fluttering purple clothes, still had a calm expression on his face, and the only movement was probably because he stretched out his arms. Like embracing the earth, you want to embrace the whole world. I didn't kill you more than 10 years ago because of your special ability. Match it with your knowledge. Escaped a bullet. If you still have confidence this time, you can try it. Language fall. The space centered on him became a vast expanse of whiteness, and the release force in the body instantly transformed into a thick repulsive force field. Wrap armed colors, destructive energy, and conquerors. All attack methods, all powerful, condensed and compressed into the repulsive force field, consume a lot of stamina. Start a big spread. Super Shenluo Tianzheng. This is Ace's only snort so far. He never underestimated the real strong. These 4 people are qualified. Call out. Wow. Start from the ground up. With the extension of his arm, the mutated repulsion field swept out. Rock, grassland, mountain peak, nearby. They are all based on the original center, squeezed into dust, accumulate little and become more, and roll out. In. The first Red Earl, probably also the most regretful thing, when he started to hear Ace's words, he became more determined. Work together. The determination to kill it. However, when he touched repulsion, his offensive began to disintegrate, starting from the tip, like a mantis holding back a car. Roll it up. Regret it from here. Shoot the first bird. Cixin is a phantom beast, with knowledge and color, has a reflex arc that surpasses the top. After reacting, he immediately turned into a blood bat. Get out. Repulsion is faster. Cover all the bats at once, under the blessing of strong destructive power. Bats screamed in pain, constantly dissipating. When it comes to the last bat, it just meets Kong. Not good. The Marine commander was also overwhelmed. Roger again. As the future One Piece. His true strength is hard to see through. Repulsion, my god's refuge. It also bounces everything. Ha ha ha. In the past, this trick has been tried and tested. Only this time, he didn't shake Shenluo Tianzheng half a point. The moment when the supreme sharp knife fell into the incomprehensible energy destroyed Ba Chan. Conducted close to his body. Crispy again. Roger Divine Avoidance not only failed to avoid the invisible repulsive force, but he was dragged out by the repulsive force field. Finally there is no shadow. 4th place. That is Edward Newgate, the strongest man in the future world. The strongest, deserves to be the strongest. One knife will not work. Respond immediately. Replaced with the most destructive power, the power of shock fruit. Shatter. A bang. With his veined arm swollen, he slammed it sideways, unleashing 100% the strongest blow. Squeal. Crack. The sound of glass breaking. The atmosphere shattered 100 meters in front of him, causing large-scale vibrations. It was extremely shocking. Clatter. Shockwave. Get mixed up with the repulsive field. Boom. However, after several seconds of stalemate, the shockwave was also bounced away. Including Newgate himself. Bounce and tear. Devastated across the board. In addition to these 4 people, Rayleigh and Jabba in the distance will also be affected. That is, Roger is also ahead. How is he doing? No wonder even Charlotte Linlin, that iron monster, wants to escape. Let's go too. Roger, it's up to you. The expressions of the 2 of them changed drastically. They ran away in a hurry. But it's not long before it's too late. Be included. 100 meters. km. Million meters. Rocks, buildings, altars, lakes, mountains. Everything within the range is like a bulldozer, washed from the inside to the outside. It was washed clean, revealing the smooth surface. Pirate Marine, the Celestial Dragons, the CPO team, and those who didn't escape are all crumbled to pieces. Even the soul is obliterated in it. This blow. Bigger than Fumo Yuchuzi. And even more brutal. Let everyone within the range feel the pain. At the same time, this blow. It also made the 4 fighters beyond the Admiral level unable to resist, and all of them did not know whether they were alive or dead. What the hell is that? Shiki, who flew to an altitude of 100 meters, looked into the distance, and his eyes widened until ultimate. Charlotte Asa, did that guy get this blow by blowing himself up? Even if this is the case, it's exaggerated enough. He flew upside down as he spoke, without any thought of colliding with it. After reaching a certain level, only then did it stop. When the dust roughly settled, the field became even more terrifying. Look around. There is a super giant pit in the center. It is as long as a kilometer. Everything you see is barren, and all life is extinct. To put it more vividly, it's the crater. It is even more convincing than the impact of a real meteorite. It not only includes physics, but also the impact on spirit and soul. Even Shiki, who has cultivated to a very high level of knowledge, just released a little perception detection, and was also thrown away by a blow. If forced to re-explore. If you don't follow that force, you will end up exactly the same as the people inside. Ashes. Hello. Roger and the four of them. Shiki couldn't keep his composure. Cold sweat dripped from his forehead. If you're so strong, nothing will happen, right? This destructive power, Asa, which is in the center, should be gone. Thoughts turn slightly. He gathers the color of knowledge and knowledge into his eyes to enhance the perception of 5 sense organs. Patrol room. It seems to see something. In the middle of the sky, there is a black dot. They seem to be looking at each other. Moment. Shiki has a feeling of heart palpitations from the soul. Him, Charlotte Asa, still alive, never looked closely. Then the black mist whirled, released the fastest speed in life, and flew towards him. Shiki just held Sakura 10 and Muku. See it. A figure appeared, wearing a red cloak, and looked like a half-human, half-bat creature. And he, the original appearance of a gentleman, is also aging at a speed visible to the naked eye. It was just a short moment, from youth to middle age. Middle age to old age. Completed the big span of life and moved towards the end. Ziz. The black mist burns up. His body was stuck one by one, as if there was a bug in the surrounding space, allowing him to maintain his figure illegally. Will fall apart anytime. What the hell? Shiki was about to slash, but his movements suddenly slowed down. This guy. It's a miserable sight, isn't it, Valoric Redfield? Since still alive, he has to ask what happened. You. Blood. Redfield yelled weakly, stretched out his pale dead hand with bloodless nails, and aimed at Shiki. Holding on to something feebly. Shiki raised his eyelids. Snow. What snow? Was it his long-cherished wish before he died? Where did he find it? But Shui. Shiki, who wanted to refuse, paused slightly. Never mind. Looking at you like this, you won't live long, so you don't expect to ask anything. Fulfill your wish. Shiki turned around and took out something, rubbed it a few times, and smoke curled up. Turn around again. Fingers moved slightly. Pieces of smoke dust, like silver snowflakes, sprinkled on the Red Earl in midair. The latter twitched. I don't know if I want to yell or not. But after all, he was still powerless, and at the same time, under the destruction of the violent power in his body, he couldn't get replenished. Life is cut off, completely dead. Gas drifts away. He really died just like that. Shiki also restrained his expression. No kidding. Of course he knew that Red Earl wanted to drink blood, but what if he drank it? I can't save him. That is the suffocating ultimate destructive power just through the air. How much blood do you have to drink? This guy can fight. Change speed. Whoa. Before the ashes of the Red Earl were scattered, Shiki saw another figure flying upside down from another direction. Then disappeared. Seems like Newgate. Too pervert. And Charlotte Asa, after this blow, it seems that there is no burden on the body. He didn't win at the bottom of his heart. Asa's desire was gone, and he didn't have it at all. Whoever wants to be right, go for it. Lousy against the monster of monsters. A few minutes ago, 10,000 meters away, another direction. Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, Nija. And the newcomer who came to help, the crane whose strength is at the alternate admiral level. There are 5 people. They all just went to Chief Commander Shu. We patronize the Commander-in-Chief, Charlotte Asa, don't worry. No need. The Marshal and the others are here, so it's impossible to find the waves. I hope that after the rocks are resolved, Asa is not dead and can be rushed over. His accounts must be settled by us. Hey, talk to Garp first, and then I will strike first. What if you accidentally kill him? I'll come first. Don't be too happy, Marshal Kong always strikes hard. If you accidentally twist his body, you will die if you continue to toss around. It's okay, anyway, Nia is here, he is a military doctor, and he can be cured. Several people ran very fast, and they all grinned, looking forward to Ace's ending. Boom. Sudden. The sky turned into a vast expanse of whiteness, and when they were able to open their eyes, they saw endless dust sweeping in. Also accompanied by 2 balls of what? Boom. Hit the ground. The sound is not small. Before a few people could see it clearly, they sensed an extremely familiar aura. Yes, Marshal Kong. Crane's voice trembled a little, as if full of disbelief. On the surface. Can't tell it's fake. How is it possible? Garp gritted his teeth. He couldn't believe it. You have to see clearly to confirm. Punch out. A large number of ashes were squeezed and scattered. Look at the fallen people. This time, the core of the Marine side, the 5 most powerful people, are all a little unsteady and their legs are weak. Ace's situation doesn't know what's going on yet, the Marshal will split first. Yes, I saw Kong. The whole body was full of blood, and the blood clots coagulated together, and there was no good place. Facial features. Eyeballs burst open. Teeth shattered. Terrible. The most cruel, angry, eye-opening. It was the body that was separated. As if being distorted by some kind, the calendar of horror was twisted in half abruptly. Ripped from the waist. Even with brass tendons and iron bones, they couldn't resist at all. After holding on for a while, they were still defeated. Card, Garp, Sengoku, Suru, yes, is it you? After the old man died. He seemed to be still breathing, he was wriggling his upper body, and said with difficulty, report to 5 elders, old man, recommend Sengoku to appoint the Marshal. And you, Garp, don't let the old man worry about it anymore, let's be the admiral of the headquarters and restore the dignity of Marine. He hasn't finished yet. Garp was only interested in Elm resources, so he couldn't help interrupting, and looked to his side, Nia Queen Coffee. After Nija recovered from a trance, she didn't dare to neglect her. Room, turn your right hand down and open your palm. All of a sudden, the invisible space Uzumaki spread out, enveloping Kong. He wants to mend, trying to perform a field surgery. That's right, he is the op fruit ability. However, after being shrouded, he sensed in Kong that there was an indestructible and violating energy zone. Hinder his operation. At the same time, there is an invisible repulsive force field constantly interfering, making the room extremely unstable. Room, shouting continuously, under Nia's profuse sweat, his body finally joined together. Before the rest of the people could heave a sigh of relief, the attack hit Jinsui. It's useless. Even if it can be mended, my internal organs would have been shattered long ago, even if it is a god. The blood on Kong's face faded. I can't save him. Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, Nija, Crane. The future is up to you to go. Especially you, Crane. The old man wants to know. When he called out to he, who was dressed in pain in a foreign dress, paused slightly, blood flashed across his eyes. Fortunately, at this time, Nia Admiral's room space, suddenly invaded by the outside world. This is an extremely strong force combined with repulsion and suction, which makes the good upper body that Kong just sewed tear up again. It's like being killed by someone. Pinch both ends. Squeeze the water stains in the clothes, twist and squeeze. Boom. In the astonished eyes of several people, a twisting, creaking and strange force came out. Finally, when it reached the critical point, there was a puff. Turn into blood mist and explode. Sprinkled on the closest Garp Sengoku Nia. The whole process takes less than a second. There is no response at all. As a result, the hanging heart of the crane was also relaxed. But the other 4 people watched helplessly. The Marshal died so cruelly, almost collapsed on the spot. Ah, no, who did it? Marshal Kong. Asa, Charlotte Asa, is that you? They can't take it. Asa was not dismembered by the Marshal, but the Marshal was. Unexpectedly, again and again, they killed their beloved colleagues. More ruthless than rocks. Us, you can't be sad all the time. Taking advantage of him now, he must be in a period of emptiness. I don't believe how much power he still has. The strongest Garp among them, Haki condensed into substance, as if he stepped out of the limit. Enter a brand new world, and the strength will rise to a higher level. With anger, bend your legs. A blast. The ground split hundreds of meters away. It turned into cannonballs soaring into the sky, rushing towards Asa. Now, his momentum even surpassed Roger, and he chased after rocks infinitely. Garp. Sengoku's eyes were also tearing apart, but he forcibly endured it for a few seconds, and reason told him to be rational. After a few seconds, still unbearable, he took off the frog glasses and put them in his pocket, but found that he couldn't put them in anyway. In a fit of anger, he threw it down and crushed it with 1 foot. Garp, then I'll be impulsive too. He spread golden light all over his body. He shot away quickly. Let's avenge the Marshal together. Taking advantage of this moment, we must never let him escape. Otherwise it will become the dream of Marine and even the world. Immediately afterwards, it's Zephyr and Nija. They are all irrepressible anger, both of them go forward, without the previous relaxation and expectation. Exclamation mark. See people go. Crane didn't bother to pretend, and slapped the fishy smell lingering around his nose in distaste, and then turned from sadness in contrast. Smile from the bottom of your heart. It's a little weird. What a quickie. Language fall. Her footsteps also sped up a bit, gradually becoming a dive speed, turning into a shadow, galloping away in the same direction. Let me see for myself. What's the meaning? Isn't he a Paramesha fruit ability user? Commander-in-Chief Shu over there. He braced himself up, looked in the direction Rox was pointing at, and immediately became blind for a while. Suddenly wrapped in white light. Then, the few auras he was familiar with quickly dissipated, no, almost all of them dissipated. Tens of thousands of lives in a radius of 10,000 meters. All extinct. Wait for the light to dissipate. In the field of vision, a large number of gray flies were pushed horizontally, and it was hazy. Commander-in-Chief Shu's complexion changed drastically. Glancing at Rox himself, also a little stunned, seemed that this scene exceeded his expectations. Rox, munch fruit devours, limits calendar. Ben Shui can understand, but that wave, is it a repulsive force, or a repulsive force field? How did he possess it? Now you can say it. He himself is a gravity man who has eaten many fruits, and he feels nature most clearly. What a terrifying ability. What did you ask Lousy to say? Rox looked cloudy and uncertain. He was puzzled at first. On the basis of having munch fruit, why can Asa have a pervert physique? Surpassed his sister, breaking through the limit beyond the limit known to Rox. So guess. Real ability. It should be some kind of reformed person. He had heard this concept by accident. Can now. The strong wave of repulsion opened. Rox is starting to be uncertain again, making it more puzzling and confusing. Rox, I would like to advise you, such a person. If you form an alliance with him, you will be backlashed sooner or later. Seeing that he refused to speak, the Commander-in-Chief Shu took a deep breath. Get up, regardless of the injury. Crazy burning away the remaining vitality, and briefly raising the ability and all aspects to the limit. If he didn't do this before, if he can recover, he can last for a few more years. But now, moment of youth, he only has 1 hour to live. If, he can still explode a similar repulsive force wave, so let me block it with my life. Gravity, awaken, a blast. With the unparalleled gravity wave blessing, the whole island seemed to lose weight for a moment. Shiki, who escaped, received the same meal. Even more horrified. What the heck? It's a fried nest. Charlotte Asa. Does he still have the strength to cope? Rox. Commander-in-Chief Shu's voice echoed, full of anger. You have thought about it clearly. If you come to stop this battle, it will be considered a victory. After winning or losing, after getting what he wants, will he be eager to attack you, the kings? If you insist on joining the war, all marines and world governments. Stay with me to the end. Language fall. He climbed to an altitude of 300 meters, turned into an orange light and charged towards the core area. Lousy. Rox laughed arrogantly, but then his eyes became gloomy again. Need you remind me? Asa. Ha 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 ha. This is you. Lousy wants it even more. He activated the second fruit ability, slapped his body, and a lot of damage was squeezed out, forming a meatball. Is it certain that my physical strength is completely exhausted? Asa here. After releasing Shenluo Tianzhong, with a lot of physical exertion, he began to land slowly. At the same time, he is also absorbing a large amount of life energy base after the death of Red Earl and Kong. Race against time to inhale, and make up again. In fact, it's okay not to make up. The abdominal world in his body is not a decoration, but a storage. A few more. There are quite a few people who came this time. To be precise, they are super top fighters, and almost all of them are here. It seems that there is going to be a final battle. Brother, have you practiced this trick long ago? Linlin arrived first, and blinked his starry eyes. If you need to rest, leave it to me, don't worry. Her big 4 homets. Over the past 10 years, they have all mastered the power of awakening. Including my own soul fruit. I have also awakened long ago, and I am proficient in all of them. Above, Coupled with the release of special treasures, all of them erupted, and she couldn't control it herself. How terrifying it would be. Call. Boom, boom, bow in seconds. After Linlin fell, one by one, they landed with great momentum, like figures of gods and demons. Stand up straight. Surrounded the brothers and sisters tightly. Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, Nika, Crane. The commander-in-chief of the high-altitude army, Shu. Except for 6 people, the pressure of the 3 who followed immediately increased even more, and even Ace's eyes sank slightly. 5 people to be exact. Rox, Roger, Newgate, Rayleigh, Jabba. The reason why the 3 were mentioned earlier is because Rayleigh Jabba is slightly inferior in strength. So it doesn't count. As for being able to escape, pure luck, it was far away at the time. And Roger and Whitebeard didn't die. Strength is one part, and the other part is also luck. Because they are far away when attacking, they are farther than the Red Earl and Kong, so they have enough time to react. Plus, on the way to fly out, under their respective command, there are Pushing Fruit ability users and Piercing Fruit ability users. At the fastest speed, pushing the 2 of them into the ground, they were able to escape and avoid the rebuke. Certainly, the price is the death of 2 crew members. The Push Fruit and Piercing Fruit are also absorbed by Asa and accept it with a smile. In addition, Roger and Newgate, facing him now, will not have a second chance to escape. But the premise is that Asa can send Super Shenluo Tianzhong again. Can you still do it? In the frozen air, someone happened to ask, if such an attack is your last resort, you. Why not? Asa's words made the man's voice stagnate. Even everyone's mood became tense again. But even if it can, what's the point? The same move will come again. Asa shook her head. The effect must be have. HMPH. I see that you are not sure at all. Above midair, Commander-in-Chief Shu's voice was extremely wide and loud, or, I have no physical strength. He thought it was so provocative. Will attract Asa to visit him. But the fact is, Asa directly ignored him, and swept to the north, Lux. There is one thing to say. This guy didn't show up on the bright side, but hid in a very far distance and landed. It was also Asa's awakening of the strangeness of knowledge. If it were someone else, it wouldn't be noticeable at all. And Rox is now, somewhat inexplicably, as if waiting for something. Is there anyone else over there? Linlin, who just got nervous, looked along his line of sight, but found nothing. But she's not stupid, she can think of it right away. Now it's a gathering of forces. What about Rox, the overlord of the pirates? After all, besides the old brother, he is the protagonist of the whole scene, right? Killed, or, Charlotte Linlin, Charlotte Asa. Your attention should be on this side. Haven't thought much about it yet. Among the 5 Marines who fell on the south side, Zephyr was the first to speak. I always flatter and not kill, but today, the only exception is for you 2. Asa, don't even think about it, delay recovery. Pirates, Roger Whitebeard, have not acted yet. But the Marine side, Zephyr Nija, Garp Sengoku, all take a step forward. The formed chi field is 600 strong, and hockey spreads invisible, even stirring up the wind and clouds in the sky. 4 people join forces, the second asteroid can be crushed. Strength is unquestionable, and, facing the scorching 4, Linlin next to Asa didn't give in even one step, and even pushed forward. Brother, don't steal the limelight this time, let the little girl do it once. Linlin didn't know how much physical strength my brother had consumed. Can fight again and again, open big again and again. Army Admiral, Air Force Admiral, Red Earl, Marine Marshal Kong. They were all killed by their own efforts, the consumption is not small, and they must need to rest. Let them know that the Charlotte family is not only guarded by you, Asa. There is even his sister. Linlin releases the treasure mini clothes showing a complete body, surpassing everyone's height. Except for today's Asa, she is almost the tallest human being, and also the most powerful existence. But even so high, body proportions, still gold. Plus, over the past 10 years, Asa has acquired pure gold Linlin's face and appearance in the lanternfish. All maintained at their peak. That is, her own temper. In addition, there is an invincible elder brother, otherwise the giants would have long since abandoned their past and rushed to propose marriage. Pity, mention this. Linlin is usually Napoleon's return gift. Everyone says beauty is a disaster. A woman like you is more than that, she is so evil to the ultimate. Nia. In fact, it has nothing to do with her. It was Asa who brought her down. If there is justice. Marine chatted for a while, and as soon as Asa was mentioned, Linlin's momentum exploded. Marine, are you thinking that not enough of your own people have died? Linlin faced the four of them directly, and was too lazy to argue with them. One mouthful of justice, in the end, it's just the watchdog of the celestial dragons. Zeus, Hera, Prometheus, language fall. Immediately behind Linlin, 3 Homits rose up, all emitting dazzling light, entwined with energy that enhances power. Seems to be angry. Armed color. Not only that, but also conquerors. These 4 guys created by the soul fruit, comprehend conqueror's entanglement. Now, not to mention the marine side. Even the pirates were amazed. There are quite a few people with conquerors, but not everyone can be entangled. This is the key ticket to step into the top powerhouse. But now, what did they see? 4 Seeb Homits. Are you ready? This shock, no less than a mere animal, comprehend conquerors, and learn to entangle. It's a combination of part of my soul. Coupled with my brother's help, I soon realized. So is there anything weird about that? Linlin said something, which made people grit his teeth angrily. Could it be very difficult for you to comprehend this? Haven't waited for their response yet. Linlin didn't give them a chance. Facing the Garp 4, he waved his hands, and the 4 Homits shone brightly. What else do you want to do? So what about comprehending hockey? Do you still want to use 4.5 creatures to counter the 4 of us? Useless work, not to mention the 4 Marines. Even the commander-in-chief of the 3 armies in the sky couldn't understand the operation of the younger sister. But no matter what, it's just delaying time. Gravity waves. Confinement. He exploded. Release the long knife from the awakened gravity wave and then go up and down, tying Asa in circles. Layer after layer. He spit out 9 mouthfuls of blood in a row, raised to a terrifying level, and tied up all Asa. Layer. It's an island. 9 lines in a row, that is, 9 islands suppressed Asa. Even if this gravity is placed on Admiral's body, he will vomit blood instantly, but what makes the commander-in-chief shoe grit his teeth? Asa is just a little uncomfortable. Feel the twist around the bent light, almost, only to find it tight. It seems that you are really ready. In the eyes of outsiders, he seems to be really unable to break free. This is just the beginning. Garp, you 4, don't let Kong down. Kill his sister as quickly as possible. Let's work together again to kill Asa. Don't put all your hopes on the United Pirates. Commander-in-Chief Shu burst out again. When the 4 people below heard the words, they all stepped out together. Hami, power unleashed. Shout out. The 4 homies are also starting to explode. Charlotte Linlin is also very sober, facing the top. She can only go all out. It's time to fight. Hulala. First Prometheus. From a small sun, directly open the explosive sun form, and turn into a super explosive fire cloud. Again Hera. The transformation of the graceful wind body, the devil of the wind, the hurricane bursts. Exclamation mark. Blessed again in the thunderstorm form, suspended in the air, endless thunder flashes all over the surroundings. At last, Napoleon of ice. Gather a large amount of frozen air on the sword body, and turn into a giant wolf stepping into the air. A total of 4 Homits rising. The strength is close to each other. They are both extremely strong. The momentum is close to Admiral. We can't hold back a few non-biological things, let's compare. Go together. Garp Sengoku, Zephyr 4 people collide with it. Crack, tear, boom, a radius of several kilometers. 4 rising elements burst forth, and the already bald ground suffered even more violent devastation. The power is so great that it gradually sweeps over 10,000 meters. The destructive power of the elements is so strong that it is heart-wrenching. In a short time, none of the 4 Homits fell into a disadvantage. But a little longer, the opponent's top combat power, even the top combat power, is still being gradually overwhelmed. Showing a declining trend. But even so, the 4 of them and even the commander-in-chief Shu above were still shocked. If Charlotte Linlin plays again, there are fewer people in their marine. If there are only 3, or 2, will they be at a disadvantage? In other words, Charlotte Linlin alone, controlling 4 homets, may be able to double admiral. Even when the idea just came up. Needless to say, it was a bit creepy. Brother and sister Charlotte, how were their genes born? I can't delay any longer. Bring out your full strength. The commander-in-chief Shu shouted angrily again. And you, Roger? How long are you going to wait? The sound fell. Roger no longer hesitated, and once again swung the supreme sharp knife. This battle, he also lost a lot of crew members, especially the Tui Tui fruit ability user who saved himself. Gambler psychology. He had to go all the way to the dark. Asa, if you do something, you have to pay the price. Either you or me are the same. He kicks off. Rayleigh and Jabba beside him are also one on the left and one on the right, protecting him and turning into streamers. All 3 together formed a joint strike. All of a sudden. Stir up the world. Cause changes in the sky. The power of the field even catches the attention of the rocks in the distance. Asa, let's end the curtain. The astonishing sound centered on Roger exploded in everyone's heart. The 3 of them turned into Aurora and pierced forward. I knew you would attack my brother. Linlin had expected it a long time ago and turned around. Ignoring the 4 Marines in front, they quickly summoned the 4 homets. Hold on to Napoleon. The eyes burst out with blood. With the swing, combination of flame, Raymond, hurricane. Eat them. Big Ming lightsaber. Shout out. The energy ring gathers on the sword body, turning like a ring, and after gathering to ultimate, Linlin swings it with all his strength. That's right. This is her best shot. Call out. The giant beam of light collided fiercely with the 3 of Roger. Zedong. The 2 sides collided in the air. A 3-kilometer air wave swept out. In the sky, the sea water outside the island rolled back. Now, their power surpasses the future 4 Emperors battle, I don't know how much. If it wasn't for the Valley of the Gods, with the blessing of special powers to stabilize the hardness of the island, it would have been torn apart long ago. That's right. I didn't expect Charlotte Ace's younger sister to be so pervert. The 3 of Roger teamed up, and Lux blocked it. Why do you always compare rocks? No, the energy wave is sweeping over, hurry up. Hurry up. The news airship outside the island was affected by the special airflow and became extremely unstable at the beginning. The people on it yelled even louder. Charlotte Linlin, the Golden Lion, who had just flown out, gritted his teeth and said, I'm really not reconciled, I'm getting more and more reconciled. That's all if Lousy can't touch Asa. Are you not as good as a woman? This blow has attracted the attention of both inside and outside the island. Inside the Valley of the Gods, the impact of both sides exploded. Surprisingly, apart from Roger, both Rayleigh and Jabba flew out. The offensive dissipated. Linlin, who had just developed new strength, was also affected and flew tens of meters away. As his chest heaved, a trace of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. But his face was still stubborn, staring at Roger and Whitebeard in the distance. Suddenly, as if sensing something. Next second, her pupils narrowed slightly, and she looked back suddenly. It is the Garp dead man who is attacking. When we don't exist. One person. I just want to delay everything, wishful thinking. Even your brother can't do it. Garp Sengoku, Zephyr. The 3 of them punched and the Japanese knifed. Stabbed mercilessly at the siblings next to Charlotte. Yes, they planned to kill both of them with one blow. Wrist blow, shockwave, fist bones fall, scalpel penetration. Die. The space is distorted together with the line of sight. Such a lineup, plus the specialness of op fruit. The 4 of you work together, and you give all your strength, because compared with Ace's destructive wave, it is even slightly stronger. Wow. Swipe down. When they were only 10 meters away. A purple lake. Swell 10 meters away from Ace's feet. Break through everything, even if it is the fruit of gravity, it can't be restricted. Finally, it rises to a height of 100 meters. Block it around. Puff. Foursome attack. Like a stone falling into the sea, it will be devoured just by hitting the waves. What? They actually imagined that Asa would make a move, but they never expected that the strength of the 4 of them would be different. The impact that comes out is just smashed in. Gone. He must have a limit. Come again. Sengoku burst out. But soon they were dumbfounded again, because the 4 of them tore apart all their strength and went behind the curtain. Swept back again. You're too late. A soft sound fell. Asa waved her hand, regardless of the result, and stepped forward. Yes. Under the shocked gaze of the Commander-in-Chief Shu, he ignored the gravity limit after awakening. Asa, easy step. You. Commander-in-Chief Shu broke into a cold sweat. No, only gravity can fight against gravity. Physical strength recovered, but even so, it shouldn't be able to break free at will. Or did gravity fail? Boom. Asa takes every step. The island shook, and the ground would have been shattered into powder if hockey hadn't been applied. Gravity suppression did not fail. Soon, Asa went to the panting Linlin, and wiped away the blood from her red lips. The healing fruit activates, and the injury is erased in an instant. Brother Shui, have you met so many people? How dare you? Go after you. Linlin's beautiful eyes moved slightly, and she pursed her red lips tightly. Also, you are always surprising people, brother. Accident. Thought you were used to it. Asa smiled at the younger sister, handing her a treasure ring. When she looked at Garp and the others immediately, her eyes were full of coldness. By relying on the number of people to bully the few, right? Then don't blame me either. Next, clear it in one breath, all of you. He soars into the sky. 10 meters, 100 meters. Even taller than the Commander-in-Chief Shu. When I was almost looking down at the Valley of All Gods, I could barely stop. Does gravity alone get you excited? Looking good. It's not. Asa glanced at Commander-in-Chief Shu, closed his eyes, stretched out one hand to the sky, and invisible dark waves gathered. God-point planetary devastation. This move was born out of planetary devastation, and it is also a stronger move than it. Hush. There was a whistling sound. On Asa's single hand, the black ball that attracts everything is condensed into ultimate, just like a small black hole. Next second, floating from the palm of my hand. Just when everyone thought there was only one. Asa's palm popped out one after another, 3, 6, 10, 30. So many, so fast. In the blink of an eye, it spread over the entire island, making people feel inexplicable fear. As that, Tien, physical strength recovered so quickly. The gravity of the Commander-in-Chief's awakening can't suppress him at all. There are still tricks. That sphere, black with purple, but more like a space collapse, lost its color. Don't stand still. No matter what it is, let's go together and stop him. The marine pirates have learned a lesson once or twice, so they dare not be careless. Among them, the Commander-in-Chief of the 3 armies, who was already in the sky, was the first to react and took great risks. Activated a stronger move. Gravity field. Great reincarnation. He pulled his hands together. The sword flashed across. The orange light squeezed the air and swept across a distance of 10,000 meters. When stronger fluctuations are about to erupt, shout out. After touching the black ball, Uzumaki is carried out like a sea current. In a flash, under the dumbfounded eyes of the Commander-in-Chief of the 3 armies, he was devoured. The attractiveness of the black ball has even increased a bit due to this. Yes, his gravity, becoming Asa's wedding dress, strengthened planetary devastation. Absorbed gravity, has it reached this point? Rox is in the dark, but his eyes are getting brighter and more excited. It's really stronger than expected, stronger than expected. Ha 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 ha. The voice did not fall. Asa above, seemed to glance at him intentionally or unintentionally, and immediately put his hands together. Murmured. Rox, figure immediately became unsteady. To be precise, it is within a radius of 10,000 meters. Within a radius of 100,000 meters. Earth, mountains, hills, basins. In the huge land resources of the Valley of the Gods, whether it is good or bad, what has not been destroyed has been destroyed, all are beginning to surge. Uncontrollably, somehow pulled, torn, turned into massive rocks, cracked, weightless, wrapped in countless dust. In just a short moment, there are thousands, tens of thousands of huge rocks, gathering towards the black spots in the sky. Shocking. Crack, tear, wow, sediment and sand. Dailong turns over. While the ground material hangs upwards, it is also difficult to find a foothold, including marine pirates. The 4 marines, who wanted to do something, were at a loss for a while. They do. Not to mention the pirate marine who participated in the battle, the chaos became a mess. Some even rolled directly into the cracks. No figure. What happened? Earthquake, earthquake. Go there. No, there is nowhere to escape. The entire Valley of the Gods, the entire Valley of the Gods is not safe. Jump off the island and escape by boat. Outside the island. Are you crazy? That's even less safe. Hey, pirate ships, warships, even diving. Rather than being weightless, it's more like being attracted. There's still sea water. It's impossible to escape. I'm going to die anyway. Are there any female celestial dragons here? Those nobles of the world. Lousy wants to play before he dies. Lousy likes female marine. Quote. The inside and outside of the Valley of the Gods are in chaos, and those who have no hope of escaping even burst out with desire in their hearts. Evil thoughts. This is the situation inside, and the situation outside the Valley of Gods is not much better. Ships, sea water. They all galloped into the sky, and as they got closer to the black ball, amidst bursts of ear-piercing sounds, it seemed like they had passed through a filter. Squeezed and chewed, adhering to the black vortex, giant meteorites with a size of hundreds of meters were formed one by one. Yes, there are boulders. Turned into meteorites. There is also sea water. Form a sea ball. The rest of the substances are mixed together to form extraterrestrial metal meteorites. Yes, because the combination of things is different, it becomes a different round giant ball. To the end, 30 of them are suspended above the sky, so huge that they can cover the sky and cover the sun. It feels like the end is coming. Meteorite. Before it was 1 or 2, now it's 3 groups. It's so pervert, how to deal with it. The surviving humans below all stared wide-eyed, and their bodies began to tremble. Charlotte Asa. Quote. Is it your power? Beyond before. Goosebumps were about to emerge on every pore of Shiki's body. He was surprised and excited at the same time. Mountains, seas, clouds and mists are all in my hands. Is that what you mean? It's so bold. Gia ha 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 ha. His lion fruit is here, and needs to be touched to make the dead thing levitate. But Asa doesn't. He munch fruit power. It can suspend all substances, dead and living things. Converge. Move your fingers like an arm. To such an extent, lion fruit can only bow down. Not to mention, you fool, you have hockey wrapped in it. Every one of them. 30 of them. Power, impact, intensity. The improvement can no longer be calculated. Shiki felt the wave and gasped. This guy is insane. So disregarding physical exertion, so profligate, is there really a limit? Perpetual motion machine. Hello, is he going to smash it now? Suddenly, Shiki's eyes widened. The other side, corresponding to their expressions, are the members of the newspaper on the special airship, their worldview. At this moment, this battle. All shredded and clean. Charlotte Asa, what is he going to do? With this amount, do you really want to fight against everyone with your own strength? How can this kind of thing be possible? But he did. Look at these meteorites. Wait, it's starting to move. Does he want to sweep this Valley of the Gods? It's coming, it's coming. Record this moment. Could it be that you really dare? They were shocked that Ultimate's voice hadn't finished yet, and the gathering speed was extremely fast. Even Garp and the others didn't have time to interrupt. The attraction and cohesion has been completed. Such raindrops are bigger and harder. Asa looked at the Valley of the Gods below, stretched out one hand, and pressed it down falsely, but it's best to use it to mash ingredients. The moment the words fall, giant meteorites fall. Accompanied by the roaring sound, one after another. The gas explodes with impact. And the commander-in-chief's shoe. It just happens to be hanging below. Seeing this scene, the muscles swell, don't talk nonsense, and offer everything. Bump with it. Gravity full release. Not only him. The Marine Quartet, the Roger Trio, and even Newgate all by himself. From doubt, to throbbing, and then to shock. No more suppressing power. Facing the giant meteor group, unleash your power to your heart's content. If you don't go all out, then this island is dangerous. So many, he must have done it on purpose. The swarm of meteorites can be avoided, but once they dodge, they will hit the ground, and the consequences will be unimaginable. The island is likely to disappear. It would lead to countless deaths. So, we can't let them fall, we must crush them. Even if it takes a lot of energy. This is also the price they pay for playing gang fights. Now they are just using their own way to punish their own body. And from Ace's point of view. Since you want to play siege my little sister and the two of us. Okay, then have a good time and have enough fun. Wrist blow. Meteor shattered. Shockwave. Room. The number of sounds suddenly resounded through the sky. They fight each other with one move, it's really like fighting against a big boss. Asa this super boss. Wow. Crack. Boom. The sound of sonic booms in midair was endless, and the top fighters deserved to be the top fighters, and they smashed the giant meteors to pieces soon. In a blink, more than a dozen of them, along with the dust, turned into many broken rocks and fell down. But the same, there are more than a dozen more, that is, all of them will be smashed down. Under this explosion, all the Marines hostile to Asa, tens of thousands, disappeared with the naked eye. Mountains smashed, hurricanes swept. In this apocalyptic scene, all living beings are equal. Mercy. No mercy. Now that they are on the battlefield, the final result is actually the same. It's just a different way of dying. Good and evil. There is no way to talk about it, the camps are different, and there is no distinction between good and evil. Really want to divide. If Asa doesn't act ruthlessly today, they should raise their troops and invade the 10,000 kingdoms someday. Just look at the fate of the Fishmen Island and you will know, after the era of great pirates begins in the future. In the absence of shelter, the pirate marines who passed by carried out large-scale kidnapping and plundering of them. Even human trafficking. Yes, usually they are not necessarily kind even to humans, let alone to other races. For them, only money is in their eyes. Boom, boom. The giant meteorite brought waves of thousands of meters. It is also fortunate that it is not high from the ground, and the island has special reinforcements. If it is dropped from a height of 10,000 meters, just one drop will cause destructive power. The island is in danger. As for Asa, the reason why there are so many condensed is to fight an eye for an eye and suppress it with numbers. Make it too late to deal with it. And the meteorites. Not everything that was intercepted was fine. A few of them hit Rayleigh and Jabba, plus they had previous injuries. In this way, he overestimated his own strength. Impact, plus destruction. It directly shattered their bodies. Yes, that's it. Except for Rogers. Rogers' regiment has two strongest main forces, the right and left arm, and the last two in gold, silver and bronze. One of them, future, is known as Pluton Rayleigh. He is also the master of Destiny Child, Monkey D. Luffy. Die instantly. There is no way to stay until the future, walk out of the Valley of Gods, and make it possible to develop in the future. After that, the most eye-catching, what is even shocking is the death of the commander-in-chief. Just like resisting asteroids before, this time even with the power of awakening. Phase 1. He smashed the supergiant meteor that wrapped destruction, hockey, and other energy with all his strength. But the second took his life away. This is also the case. Marine. World government. Following the loss of a marshal, it once again lost a commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The three top players died in battle, let alone the minions, maybe this war. Their participation is superfluous. This is also the reason why Asa doesn't take anyone with me. Only in this way, you don't have to worry about it, and you are not afraid of being dragged down, can you let go of your hands and feet. As for Linlin, naturally, you have already reached the mirror space first, and you will not be affected by the neck. www. Time passed by every minute and every second. The Valley of the Gods is blooming everywhere, full of dryness and cracks, the flames are scattered, scorched and cratered, and the ground appears to be dry. Ruin is all around. Clearance is complete. Call out. Several people fell from the sky one after another. Roger was the first to find the bodies of Rayleigh and the others, after seeing them clearly. His anger exploded directly. Partner, sometimes, he thinks more important than his own life. If someone dares to hurt, he can even go to the country. But now, for their own sake, join the battle together against Asa. They are still the most cherished too, especially Rayleigh. For him, it has an indescribable meaning. But died, unbelievably, killed by a meteorite. Remembering the scene where I fooled him into boarding the boat. Can't hold back the tears anymore. Rayleigh, Jabba. Ah, it was I who harmed you, it was me. He's good when he's good, but when he's headstrong, he's just as headstrong. You killed my buddy. Charlotte Asa. Your sister. I, too, will be shredded into pieces. In front of your face, let you feel what it is to lose. Propelled by anger, Roger's voice was a little irrational, bursting into fluctuations that made everyone palpitate. Burn vitality and life. In exchange, beyond the ordinary state. Even the rocks nestled in the distance have extremely dangerous thoughts. Asa, he's driving everyone into a hurry. Bahahahahaha, how should I deal with it? Rocks chuckled low. Then he focused his gaze on the other side, which was in the direction of Marine. Next, leave it to us. At this moment, the 5 members of GARP clenched their fists and surrounded the corpse of Commander-in-Chief Shu. Sengoku knelt down and closed the commander's eyes. But the next second, a purple mist was born on the ground, absorbing it in the blink of an eye, along with Rayleigh and Faba over there. Absorbed together. Sengoku was taken aback. Roger was taken aback. Finally, I looked towards the source, and Yingsa was falling down from the center. All of a sudden, hate and anger intertwine. The momentum has been raised to a higher level. If anger can be exchanged for victory, there will be no losers in the world. Also, there are corpses here, so you will get in the way. In this way, you can let go more. Asa said nonchalantly. Since the beginning of the war, I have said to be conscious, so do you regret it at this moment? Does not exist. Roger swung his sword so sharply that even meteorites 100 meters away were affected. Crush into powder. Beside him, a taller figure appeared, Newgate. Around, Sengoku Garp, Zephyr Niga, Crane, and even surrounded. A total of 7. There are 6 of them, all staring at Asa, all burning their lives in exchange for stronger power. I won't give you another chance. Will no longer. Give you a minute and a second. Spirit of 7. Straight through the sky. Garp, Roger, Newgate. 3. It has reached above the 4 emperors. A new realm and field. Then go ahead. Gamble everything. Even though Asa. He also felt unprecedented pressure. He took a deep breath, clasped his hands together, and burst out with the momentum of shaking the island, end this gluttonous feast. After absorbing the Red Earl and others, his power from another level came back to life. At the same time, the figure of Rocks is also getting closer, and every step increases his combat power. Bah ha 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 ha. Come on, come on. We can't let this mess go on. In the deepest part of the Valley of the Gods, the 5 deep and old eyes were filled with waves. Are you ready? Then let's start. No matter how you say it is an ability, activate that. His greatest weakness. Next, his munch fruit, will no longer be able to fight back. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.